First Energy Stadium is the setting for tonight's preseason finale, and Cleveland enters the game with few questions left to answer. John Dorsey has assembled a roster that's deep and loaded with Pro Bowl talent on both sides of the ball. Anticipation for the 2019 regular season and the debut of their superstar wide receiver is at a fever pitch. But first, the Browns need to fill out the 53-man roster, and tonight's performances will go a long way in determining who makes the final cut. The Browns and Lions are next. The hay is in the barn for most of the starters. They will watch tonight. But tonight is all about the backups and roster positions. Cutdown day is Saturday, and many of the Browns that are currently on the roster will not be with them after Saturday night. Hello again, so good to be with you. Jay Crawford along with my partner Tim Couch, the former #1 overall draft pick of the Browns back in 1999. Tim, some might be concerned with Baker Mayfield after his struggles last week in Tampa Bay. You're not.
No, I'm not concerned at all. And really, Jay, no one on the offensive side of the ball played well last week in Tampa. The wide receivers struggled. They were dropping passes. The timing and the rhythm of the offense was off. But more importantly, the offensive line broke down on Baker Mayfield. He had pressure in his face all night. And when a quarterback gets that, he's going to start throwing off his back foot. You're going to start seeing the high throws. And Baker just didn't feel comfortable the entire night to step up into the pocket. And that's why you saw so many errant throws.
Well, Freddie Kitchens more than confident in his quarterback. He believes he is ready for the season opener against Tennessee. Now, a lot of position battles that the coaches will be watching very carefully. You still have a sharp eye for special teams tonight.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a big position that the Browns need to settle, and there's two rookies battling for some spots out there. And Austin Seibert, the rookie kicker that they drafted, got an opportunity to play last week against Tampa Bay. He went 4 for 4 in that game and looked really comfortable out on the field. And then Jamie Gillen had an opportunity to play the whole game as well, and he averaged 44 yards a punt, put 3 punts down inside the 20-yard line. Both of those rookies have really taken advantage of their opportunities so far in the preseason, and they're going to get another shot here tonight.
The Scottish Hammer also made a terrific tackle on special teams. John Doss down on the field. He's standing by with the offensive line coach and associate head coach for these Cleveland Browns, James Kaplan.
All right, Coach, here we are, preseason finale. Still a lot of guys on this roster battling for the last few spots that you guys have. I imagine that can make a finale quite fun.
It does. It's exciting to see young players and even older veterans, you know, fighting for a spot. And it's such an important game, you know, the game 4, and to let them go out and show one more time and you know, want to be. Everybody wants to be a Cleveland Brown, but you got to prove it on the field. So it's going to be exciting for them.
If guys are on the bubble, can they really make or break their future in a game like tonight?
100%. I mean, it happens every year. There'll be a couple of guys you'll go, wait a second, and you have to go back, and that's a good problem. You go back into the room tomorrow and you know, watch the tape and ask yourself questions. Do you want him or him? You know, it's one of those things. So it's very it's an emotional day too, to be honest with you. It's tough when these players have given everything they can to us for 6 weeks. You know, the game 4, we as coaches owe a ton to them to give them our best tonight, to put them in awesome positions to succeed.
Coach, thanks so much.
Thank you.
It's the 2-1 Browns against the 0-3 Detroit Lions. Tonight, preseason game number 4, one of the most important night of the lives of many football players that we'll see here. It's the Lions and Browns from First Energy Stadium when we come back. The Detroit Lions have won the toss. They've deferred. They will kick the ball. So the Cleveland Browns will start on offense tonight. And Tim Couch, tonight, as we've talked about, is about the backups. David Njoku will start for the Browns at tight end. So you will see a little bit of starting flair in there tonight, but not much and not for long.
Yeah, not much, not for long, but you know, they want to put some help out there for Garrett Gilbert, so they're going to put Njoku out there, they're going to put Higgins out there and give him an opportunity to go out and make some plays in this football game.
Garrett Gilbert will start the game at quarterback, and he likely will play into the third quarter. Freddie telling us yesterday he felt it was important for it to be his deal all the way around, even to feel what it's like to come out of halftime and be the starting quarterback. Dustin Fox, Bernie Kosar, the third and fourth members of our broadcast crew. They're down on the field. Our first hello of the night to those guys. Hello.
Hey, guys. In all seriousness, some of these football players that are going to play in this football game tonight are some of the greatest football players in the world. And we got to show them some respect because there's a lot of guys out here that may never play in the National Football League again. And I just have so much respect for these guys and the competition that they've shown throughout camp.
Well, it's hard to be serious after an AC/DC Hell's Bells song for kickoff here.
Yeah.
But it is. For younger players today, Coach Kitchens uses the phrase, you're either going to be exposed or exposure. And a lot of these guys, whether they make the team or not, they're getting exposure and auditioning for quite a few other NFL teams.
All right, back to you guys.
Gilbert's first throw complete for a Browns first down. Rashard Higgins on the other end of that pass. So Gilbert comes out slinging. And that's something we've seen much of from this Browns football team. I was looking, Tim, at the balance chart. 113 passes to only 53 rushes through the first 3 games.
Yeah, I think Freddie feels really comfortable with all the quarterbacks that come into the game. All 4 of the guys have performed really well in the preseason, so he's not afraid to get back there and let those guys cut it loose.
Gilbert this time will give it to Hilliard, who falls forward for perhaps a yard or 2. Ernest Johnson has been the Browns' leading rusher this preseason with 65 yards, or rather 86 yards through the first 3 games. So it gives you some sort of an idea that they've really thrown the football here this preseason. That's clearly what Freddie wants to work on most. Second down, 7 now for Gilbert and the Browns. Looking to throw, dumps it to Hilliard out of the backfield, makes a nice cut inside and falls forward for a pickup of 6 yards. That'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Good job by Gilbert that time. They were setting up the screen. Watch him keep his eyes to the right over here to look the defensive backs off and the linebackers off, and then come back and dump the screen off to the left, allowing that offensive line time to get out in front of that and almost get a first down on that play.
So the Browns bring in their run package here on 3rd and short. Really has been a nice preseason, Tim, for all of the Browns quarterbacks. Obviously, Baker struggled last week, but for the most part, 5 touchdowns, just 1 pick this preseason. That will not be enough for a first down, clearly, as that Detroit defensive front does a terrific job handling the offensive line. It's a loss of a couple, and it brings up the Browns' first punt.
Yeah, just no blocking on that. Hilliard had no opportunities. You see they're running the little zone stretch play here to the right, and that was Njoku who got beat on the end of the line of scrimmage that time. He just got beat to the inside, and that's going to upset Freddie Kitchens for sure.
So it's Jamie Gillen on to kick it away for the Browns after a 4-play opening series. First down on the first play and then a 3 and out. Gillen puts this one high, and it will be caught, and the return is on for the Lions, but quickly there to bring him down. A host of Browns tacklers led by Jannard Avery. So the Lions will take over on offense when we come back after the Browns sputtered with their first possession. The Browns are hosting their Fantennial next weekend. The events will be highlighted by the unveiling of a statue to honor quarterback Otto Graham Saturday afternoon at First Energy Stadium. Browns fans, show up with your families from 1 to 4 for all the festivities on Dog Pound Drive. Learn more at clevelandbrowns.com. Long overdue, and I, for one, can't wait to check out the Otto Graham statue. Such a historical figure in this Browns franchise, and he will be honored forever with a statue outside First Energy. That, again, is coming up Saturday. So the Lions will start on offense. They, too, like the Browns, resting most of their starters tonight. Looking to throw, and dropped on the very first play of the game by Devereaux Lawrence. And Tim, this is a young man that we had an opportunity to spend some time with yesterday. What a terrific story. His 3rd sack of this preseason. He's a backup.
And playing at a very high level. I know Freddie Kitchens and the rest of this staff really love Devereaux Lawrence and what he brings to this defensive unit, and he makes his impact on this game on the first snap on the defensive side of the ball.
Tom Savage, the quarterback. And again, it is a huge stop by that Browns defense. This time, it is Danny Ekwale who is there to make the stop. They come at you from all angles, Tim.
They do. They're relentless. This defensive front is the strength of this Cleveland Browns football team, and they're talented. They're deep. A lot of guys that can really play, and the interior of this defensive line is where they've really improved from a year ago. Jay, they had struggled stopping the run a year ago. I think that's not going to be a problem for this football team going forward.
Third down 19 now for Tom Savage and this Lions offense. Lawrence again breaking free. This time the pass is complete. Lawrence got to the quarterback, but may have been held on his way there, Tim.
He's unblockable. And, you know, Freddie Kitchens has said that at times during training camp, like, we can't block you, man. Like, I don't know, it doesn't matter who we put out there. He's just wreaking havoc in the backfield, and the Detroit Lions offensive line is finding that out as well.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, offense, number 72. That penalty is declined, the result of the play, 4th down.
Yeah, and if not for that, it would have been a second sack for Devereaux Lawrence in 2 plays. A very likable young guy. Certainly Freddie Kitchens has been on record talking about Devereaux Lawrence. He is certainly an interesting story, and we'll talk more about that throughout the broadcast. A high returnable kick. A flag is down. A Lions defender was out of bounds. To Ernest Johnson takes it up the left side for a nice return up past the 40-yard line. There was a penalty flag on the play. We'll sort that out before the break.
Personal foul, blocking out of bounds during the kick. Receiving team, number 20. 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Cleveland keeps the ball. 1st down.
Tavier Thompson called for the penalty. The Browns offense will take over again. 10:35 remaining in a scoreless first quarter.
Welcome back into First Energy Stadium. John Doss now joined by Browns cornerback Denzel Ward. And I just asked you, I know you're itching 9 days away from the regular season opener.
Definitely. I'm excited. I was itching to get out on the field today with these guys, but I hope these guys do good, go out there and make some plays. But I'm definitely looking forward to next week and going against the Tennessee.
This defense has been dominant all preseason. We've already seen it here. The first drive, 2 more sacks for this front 4. It's got to be great. How does that change what you do in the defensive backfield, the way these guys can rush the pass?
Yeah, you guys seen that last game with our D-line, how they're able to get to the quarterback. And really, it does a lot for us, the corners and the secondary, just being able to sit on routes and cover our guys a little shorter than the expected time for a longer route. What have you seen out of Greedy Williams? You were in his place last year as a highly drafted rookie. What have you seen from Greedy, and have you taken him under your wing a little bit? Definitely. I feel I definitely took him under my wing. That's my friend. He's out here right now. Hope he's doing good. But really just giving him tips and telling him kind of what I went through as well when I was a rookie, because I was obvious in the same shoes that he's in now, and just talking to him. And but he has a lot of confidence. He's out there making plays and doing what he has to do. All of the press this offseason really has centered around the offense. Baker, Odell, Jarvis, he had a pretty good defense on this team too. Definitely, yeah, we definitely got a pretty good defense, but we let all the hype and everything go to offense right now, and we'll show what we got to do for defense come next week. Denzel Ward, thank you very much. Good luck this year.
Well, what an addition Denzel Ward proved to be for this Browns defense last year, making it to the Pro Bowl as a rookie. Just a terrific addition and a big part of this Browns future moving forward. 3rd down 6. Gilbert with time, and he completes it for a Browns 1st down. Rashard Higgins on the other end of that completion. So once again, Garrett Gilbert showing Tim accuracy and poise back there.
Yeah, he looks sharp back there, but I think more importantly, they're getting Higgins involved in this game. They thought he struggled really bad against Tampa Bay last week, and maybe didn't have that same passion and hunger he had. He was really fighting for a roster spot a year ago, and they want him to not really get where he feels comfortable, but kind of feel like the same way he did when he was trying to make the roster, and they felt like he was playing at a higher level. So just kind of get back to that. So it's good to see him catch a couple passes early in this game.
1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. Gilbert to throw again, looking deep, has his man, and he can't haul it in. A terrific throw, but Ish Hyman just unable, Tim, to bring that in.
What a great throw that time by Gilbert, and a great read, too, seeing the safety move out of the middle of the field, so he knew he had the post in behind that. He delivered a perfect throw to Hyman, but he just kind of lost his balance at the end of that route and couldn't haul the football in.
And for a young guy trying to make the roster, that one's going to stick with him for a while.
Definitely so. You got to make those plays if you're going to make the 53.
But again, Gilbert, just great touch on that deep ball. He's been the Browns' leading passer this preseason, came in completing 66% of his passes. This one can't be brought in. Again, incomplete to Hyman. So you look at that wide receiver room, Tim, and Braxton Miller, the guy that Browns fans know so well, having excelled at Ohio State, most recently brought in about 10 days ago, Ish Hyman, Derek Willis. They're in battles for roster spots. There's no other way to say it.
They are, and tonight is a big night for all those guys, and Hyman off to a rough start. He's dropped 2 passes here back-to-back on this drive, so he's going to have to get it together, and I expect the Browns to get Braxton Miller involved heavily in this football game tonight as well.
Well, I know, talking with Freddie yesterday, he lights up when he's talking about Braxton Miller, and why not? That one almost picked off, intended for Hyman again, so 3 straight passes in the direction of Hyman, all 3 incomplete, and that will bring on Jamie Gillen.
Yeah, and two of those obviously should have been called. That time, Garrett was a little late on the throw on the out route. You really have to anticipate that throw, and if you're going to miss, you got to miss it to the sideline, or it's going to be a pick 6.
So Gillen with his second opportunity to punt the ball away. This one a little shorter than his first. And a decent return as the Browns finally bring him down. Again, it's Jannard Avery with the tackle. The Lions will take over 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. We're still scoreless from First Energy. Oh, look at this beauty. That is Freddie Kitchens back in his Alabama days. And there he is, fixing the pads. Tim Couch, you guys played one that came down to the wire.
This was a great game. Kentucky hadn't beaten Alabama in 75 long years, and we went to overtime in this game. I was able to throw a touchdown pass right there to Craig Yeast to win the game, and I remember this like it was yesterday, the goalpost coming down in Commonwealth Stadium.
Did you talk to Freddie about that?
Yeah, well, when I first went out to camp this year and finally got to talk to Freddie and just introduced myself, he kind of turned around and walked off. He was still a little upset about the 97 game.
Look at those numbers. Tim playing actually less than 4 full seasons with the Cleveland Browns. Still way up there in all of the categories amongst all Browns quarterbacks. So the Lions take over now. 1st and 10. They push the ball across midfield and end up with a gain of about 8 yards. When you think back to that football game, Tim, what comes to mind?
Just how exciting it was in the stadium. You know, like I said, Kentucky hadn't beaten Alabama in such a long time. And not only to beat Alabama, but the way we did it in overtime on a touchdown pass to win it. I mean, that's one of those plays that you live for as a college quarterback. And the fans rush the field, tear the goalposts down. It was a pretty special night.
Yes, it was. 2nd down and 3 now for the Lions. Savage with time, tries to complete it on the short route, but it falls incomplete. That'll bring up a 3rd down. That pass incomplete. So 3rd down 3. 8 and change to go here in the first. Dustin talked about this in the open, but I don't think you can really emphasize this enough. Tonight is a huge night for many of these football players. For a lot of them, this will be the last time they wear an NFL uniform. A lot is at stake. I know fans may look at the 4th preseason game as, you know, get it out of the way and let's get on for real. But this is important business that we're looking at tonight.
It is, and it's an emotional night for a lot of guys. They're out here playing for their football lives, and they all want to continue to keep playing this game that they love so much, and tonight's a great opportunity to keep that going.
Well, terrific catch right there, but there is a flag down. Let's see what the call is. Nice throw and a terrific catch by Travis Fulgham.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, that penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
So it's a deep play, a successful play. TJ Carey whistled for the infraction.
Take a look at Carey. I didn't see any contact there at all from Carey. Not sure exactly what they called.
It came early. The flag was thrown early in the play. That the Browns are with you, Tim. They didn't see anything either, and there comes the challenge flag, and probably good use of a challenge flag in this spot.
Well, Freddie, I think, just saw the replay that I saw, and said there was not even any contact on the route, so it had to happen right off the line of scrimmage, as you mentioned, Jay. Maybe we can get a shot of that and see if it happened earlier in the route.
So it's one of the big changes. We've talked about it throughout this preseason. Pass interference calls are now reviewable. And I'm wondering if this play is reviewable because the call wasn't pass interference.
Cleveland is challenging the rule on the field of a completed catch.
Okay. So did he get that second foot down? And no, he didn't.
Did not. The heel came down out of bounds, so that will come back.
So they'll look at it and they'll decide catch or no catch, but you saw it. Certainly looks like the Browns will take over on a punt when we come back. So clearly it was not a catch, but there was the hands penalty against the defense.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field of a completed catch, it is an incomplete pass. The receiver stepped out of bounds. Although we still have illegal use of hands on the defense. The 5-yard penalty removed the ball to the 42-yard line and an automatic first down.
So the Lions keep it because of the illegal use of hands. Here's another look at it. Clearly,
is not charged at timeout.
That right foot,
right? He's
half in, half out.
He's out of bounds, and a good challenge that time by Freddie Kitchens because it does move the ball all the way back here to the 42-yard line instead of on the 16-yard line where they had it.
7:58 on the game clock.
So it moves them back 26 yards, but the Lions do keep the football. Travis Fulham, the receiver on that play, the rookie out of Old Dominion, 6th-round choice.
7:58 on the game. Thank you.
Now we got it. It's preseason for the game officials as well.
That's right.
Tom Savage still in at quarterback for the Lions. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. Not much happening on the run there. Nick Bawden, the ball carrier, and Whitehead on the stop. Missed a couple of weeks. He's back in there now.
Good to have him back in there. He's very good against the run. He's a very physical player. Can do both. Can get down in the box and stop the run and also cover tight ends and backs out of the backfield.
Savage in his 6th year out of Pittsburgh. On the move here. The quick dump off for the completion, but a terrific job by rookie Mack Wilson making the tackle.
Great recognition that time by Mack Wilson. Watch him on the right side of your screen. Look into the backfield. He sees the tight end come across the formation. He knows that's his guy, and he just breaks on that thing immediately and gets a tackle down as soon as that pass is completed. And that's just great awareness from the rookie and understanding what's going on.
Great instincts, great quickness, makes a great linebacker. And that's what we've seen so far from the rookie. Had those 2 interceptions here in the first preseason game to get his Browns career off to a terrific start. 3rd down 8 now for Savage. Wants to throw. Pocket collapses and down goes Savage. So again, that Browns pass rush collapsing the pocket.
Jay, if I'm not mistaken, I think they held Lawrence again on this play. You see him 99 at the bottom of your screen.
Offense, number 65.
Yes, indeed.
His decline, the result of the play. 4th down.
The Chad Thomas there to pick up the sack.
I mean, how well is Lawrence playing?
That could have been his 3rd sack of the night.
It could have been. He gets the sack on the first snap of the game, and then he forces 2 holding calls. He would have had 2 more sacks. Boy, he's doing a lot to make this team, that's for sure.
He's unblockable.
He is unblockable.
Terrific story about the young man. Comes from a broken family, has had so many things in life go against him, but refuses to quit. Had 2 ACL surgeries during early in his career with the Saints. Terrific special teams play by the Lions right there to down the ball at the 1-yard line. So Devereaux Lawrence got this beaming and terrific, likable personality. Earlier in training camp, Freddie Kitchens stopped practice, called everybody together, and he did it because Devereaux Lawrence was essentially unblockable. But at the time, Lawrence thought he may have been in trouble. Listen to this.
I thought I was in trouble because I just tackled the running back to the ground, so I really thought I was going to get in trouble. You know what I mean? But when he said that, it was like, okay, boom, accept the pat on the butt, but put your head down and keep working.
No, you were not in trouble. It was time for Freddie to get the attention of his offensive line because, and Tim, it's been like that throughout camp, and when he's been on the field, he just makes plays.
He makes plays. He's hard to block. He's very quick off the line of scrimmage and a powerful guy.
So the Browns start in jail, 1st and 10 from the 2-yard line. Gilbert to throw, a little high on the throw, but this time it is brought down by Braxton Miller. I would expect we'll see a lot of that tonight because Freddie really wants to see how he fits into this offense.
Yeah, they want to get him the ball as much as possible, and I love the play call. Play action coming off your own goal line. I always love that as a quarterback, and they want to get that guy the football, Braxton Miller, in space and see what he can do run after the catch.
So it gives the Browns some breathing room now. Out to the 15-yard line. Gilbert alone in the backfield. The quick slant cannot be hauled in by Ratley, but there may have been a push.
Offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
All right, so it goes against the Browns.
Replay, first down.
Let's go down on the field to Dustin Fox. Dustin?
So Devereaux Lawrence was voted as the #1 teammate they'd like to have in a street fight. And so, Bernie, we asked him this week who he'd like to have with him. He said Olivier Vernon because you don't trust a guy that quiet, Bernie.
Well, both of those guys seem unblockable. The Browns offensive line had trouble with them in training camp, and the Detroit Lions offensive line tonight has no chance to block him.
And just to add to that, Devereaux Lawrence, if you thought he loved Nick Chubb, which he does, Devereaux Lawrence is #2 on that list of players liked by Freddie Kitchens. Back to you guys.
Absolutely. Freddie beaming yesterday when talking about Devereaux Lawrence. And it's not just about his play, Tim. It's obvious he was in the room with us yesterday for 30 seconds, and I think our entire crew fell in love with him. He's just a likable young man that you can't help but root for.
He is. He's got a lot of energy, and you know, you want those kind of guys on your football team, and you can tell he loves coming to work every day. He believes in the head coach and what he's saying and this system, and I think he's going to be a great asset for this Cleveland Browns defense.
Second down, 17. Gilbert with time. Looking for Braxton Miller, but launches it over his head and incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 17. And Tim, when you think about it, so we know about the Browns' fearsome front four. This is going to be a front line that gets after quarterbacks all season long. And it's all about rotation and having fresh guys to bring in, fresh legs as the game goes on. I think most teams, after what we've seen from Lawrence, most teams would love to have a guy like that in the front rotation. He's a guy that's going to come off the bench and be able to apply pressure to opposing quarterbacks.
I think that's a great point, Jay. And I think that when he's going to be over there on the sideline resting while guys like Ogunjobi and Richardson are in there to start the game. He's going to come in later in the game and rotate in and out with those guys and have fresh legs and have all that energy that he brought to this game so far.
Gilbert's pass complete to Farrell Brown, but not enough for a Browns first down, so they will have to punt it away. It's been a busy night already for Gillen, as this now will be his 3rd punt of the evening. Resembles a typical 4th preseason game. Tim, a lot of miscues, a lot of punting.
Yeah, that's what you get. You know, you got a lot of backups in the game here, just out there competing for roster spots. And you see a lot of penalties and a lot of missed assignments on offense and defense.
Gillen's punt taken inside the 40-yard line, and with some room up the right side, a nice return and an even better tackle by guess who? The Scottish Hammer. Flag on the play. So that likely may be coming back. But Tim, that wasn't a one-off last week. This guy is a rugby player.
Receiving team, number 49. 10-yard penalty. Detroit keeps the ball. First down.
Gillen is a rugby player by trade, and he said, look, I play the most important position in rugby. I'm basically the quarterback of the offense and the defense. Look at that form tackle.
Great form. You know, I asked you about the tackle last week against Tampa Bay because this is not an easy tackle. This is an open field tackle on a punt returner in the NFL. That's tough. Tough assignment. He made it look easy, and then he shows again here tonight. He's willing to stick his nose in there and make another tackle. And like you said, Jay, he's a rugby player. He didn't think twice about it. When I asked him, he's like, "Hey, that's my job. I got him on the ground."
50-yard punt for Gillen. So the Lions back on offense will keep it on the ground. A nice cutback here, and all kinds of room up the left side for Mark Thompson. But a penalty flag is down.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Mack Wilson was on the ground after this play, and there it is.
Right in the middle of the screen, just holding on Mack Wilson, and that was unfortunate for Thompson that time. That was a great cutback run.
Wilson manhandled on that play by Crosby, and the hold sets Detroit back now 1st and 20 from the 30-yard line. Another run, this time for a gain of a couple. Thompson, the ball carrier, carry on the tackle. So I mentioned that Gillen was a rugby player. Didn't play high school until halfway through his senior season. It's a terrific story. And Dustin Fox, I think we all just, we fell in love with this guy as well yesterday.
Hey guys, down here on the field with Bernie Kosar. Bernie, this guy was so impressive in our meeting yesterday. You think he's got a legitimate chance to make the team?
Oh, absolutely. And so to watch the intensity in play, this is showing the consistency of players and the difficult decisions that John Dorsey and the organization has.
And it's funny, too, because he talks about net punt, his net average. That's why he makes the tackles, because he doesn't want to screw up his average.
Yeah, the punting net average is one thing, but his form tackling is so impressive.
Put him in the secondary. Back to you guys.
Well, he's done a lot of it from his rugby days. He was also asked yesterday, are you a little concerned that the coaches don't want you making tackles? And his answer was, I don't think they want touchdowns, so they'd rather me stick my nose in there and make a tackle. That throw on 3rd down is going to be complete but short of the 1st down. So that'll bring up a Lions punt. So they're flip-flopping the field here, Tim. Not a whole lot to speak of offensively.
A lot going on defense, so I'm really impressed with the Browns front four again this week. Obviously last week they got after Jameis Winston, and they had 5 sacks in the first half of that football game last week, and they already got a couple on Tom Savage and a couple other pressures as well early in this first quarter.
Ryan Santoso on to punt for the Lions. Ernest Johnson back to return it. He does so at the 11-yard line, makes the first guy miss, and is brought down at the 16. Asked yesterday if fair catch was in his vocabulary, he said, I try not to.
Trying to make the team.
Trying to make the team. You're not going to do that by putting that right arm in the air. And he has definitely made an impression here in this preseason, particularly with his pass pickups. His pass block protection has been terrific this year, but Devereux Lawrence we've spoken of, and Drew Forbes is another guy on that offensive line. Tim, he's shown real strides. The coaches continue bringing his name up, and I think all 3 of these guys came in with not a lot of fanfare, but certainly looking to make this football team.
Yeah, absolutely. They've all done a great job so far during camp and in the preseason. I've been really impressed with Ernest Johnson and his versatility as a running back. As you mentioned, Jay, picking up the blitzes and pass protection, but catching the ball out of the backfield. He's also valuable as a return guy as well. And obviously, we know Lawrence has had a great preseason camp as well.
This will move it forward for about 5 yards. Braxton Miller once again. And the crowd showing their appreciation for the former Buckeye. I asked him yesterday how often he's asked about that spin move against Virginia Tech, and he said every day.
Every day, as he should be. That was a heck of a play, and he's just one of those guys you want to get the football to as many times as you can. He's elusive in the open field, and you just want to get the ball in his hands as many times as possible.
He's had a very short window to try to impress these coaches. Signed last week. Saw some action in the last preseason game, but looking to get much more here tonight. That is a first down carry for Hilliard. Here it is. I can't see this enough.
That's a video game move. Had two guys had him pinned in on the sideline, and he has the awareness to make a spin move. He said he used to make plays like that in practice. He used to make plays like that in practice all the time. Never really tried it in a game and didn't really think anything about it. Jay, you asked him, did he think it was an unbelievable play when he got to the end zone? He said, no, not really. Just kind of an average play for me.
Yeah, it wasn't until he saw the replay. He said, yeah, that was pretty nice. Nice indeed. There is an injured Browns player down on the field with 1:05 to go here in the first quarter. No score. Each team has had the ball 3 times. They've punted 3 times. Here's another look. See if we can pick up what happened.
Yeah, Forbes rolled up on at the end of that play. You hate to see that. It's offensive lineman's worst fear is the body's flying down around your ankles and knee and just get rolled up on. Hopefully Drew is okay.
Boy, you really hate to see that. We just mentioned that Drew has really drawn the praise of the coaching staff so far this preseason. The 6th round pick out of Southeast Missouri State. And Coach Campen, the offensive line coach, said, you know, he came in, obviously coming from a smaller school, that takes some time, and then you've got to get your confidence, and he was really starting to play well, and boy, you hate to see that. Getting rolled up on that left leg. We'll see if we can get an update on Forbes' condition. First down 10 as the final seconds of the first quarter ticking away now. Gilbert with the completion over the middle. That is Seth DeValve, the tight end from Princeton, who has not played much because of injury this preseason, but nice catch there. Dustin.
Hey guys, obviously when Braxton Miller was in college, he had a shoulder injury, which kept him out, and he basically had to learn to play wide receiver. Not many people know about this, but Urban Meyer was a wide receivers coach at Notre Dame before he got to Bowling Green, Utah, and all that. But Urban Meyer was working with Braxton Miller 30 minutes after practice every single day after that shoulder surgery to get him ready to make that switch.
Yeah, and you can see the effects of it. Braxton Miller's ability to get open in the slot is definitely a big reason for him to be able to play good.
He's got a shot. He's got to play well tonight.
Yeah, and he knows that. He knows he's got a golden opportunity here for him tonight. So far, he's done everything the Browns have asked for him. That pass off the back foot of Gilbert for the other tight end from Princeton trying to make this club. And it was incomplete. Stephen Carlson, haven't seen him much this preseason, but certainly an imposing figure at that tight end position.
Yeah, he's a big guy, and he was actually open on that play, but Garrett Gilbert didn't have time to step into the throw. He had pressure right in his face, and as you mentioned, Jay, that's why you saw the throw off the back foot and high.
3rd down and 2. Final play now of the first quarter. Gilbert with all kinds of time. Throws it to DeValve, but it is incomplete. So that will bring up the 4th Browns punt of this game so far. The scoreless first quarter is in the books. The Browns will punt it away when we come back to First Energy Stadium. Well, this is never a good sight. Drew Forbes, the rookie offensive lineman, limping off after being rolled up on that last series.
Yeah, I hate to see that, and especially a guy out here trying to make this football team. And hope Drew is okay.
4th down and 2 now. Jamie Gillen in to punt it away. Trying to make this football team, doing everything he can to impress these coaches, and his special teams play after kicking the ball certainly hasn't hurt him. A high punt. This one will be fair caught at the 17-yard line. So a good punt for Gillen inside the 20. Kennedy having to call for a fair catch. A lot of hang time on that. and that's what you want. Dustin Fox down on the field has an update on Drew Forbes. Dustin?
Hey, guys, Drew Forbes left the game. It is a knee. He is questionable to return.
All right, Dustin, thank you very much. No sense speculating, but it's never good when you see a player rolled up on like that. You made the point, Tim. There wasn't just one guy falling on him. 2 or 3 guys were involved in that play.
Yeah, he got clipped from behind, and then he had some the weight of about 3 guys coming down on top of him as well. So it didn't look good, but hopefully he's going to be okay.
Flag down on the completion, usually in the area of a hold, but that's the preliminary call.
Holding. Offense, number 75. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
Leo Kolamatungi with the call of holding, and that'll put the Lions back inside the 10-yard line. John Doss down on the field. John?
Yeah, guys, look who we've run into. Browns receiver Odell Beckham Jr., and I already asked Denzel Ward this, and I imagine same goes for you. How much are you itching to get back out here in 9 days against Tennessee in the season opener?
I can't even explain it. You know, when I hear the national anthem, it's kind of like a trigger song for me, and I heard it tonight, and this was the first time I really felt that in 9 days we're going to be playing real football. So I know that I'm excited. I know that everyone on this team's excited, and we're just ready to go out and have fun with all the hard work we put in.
This has been such a wild offseason for you. Do you feel like things have started to slow down for you now?
Yeah, they're settling down, getting moved in, kind of learning the roads. You know, I got my house I'm about to move into, so it's starting to get settled in. And, you know, it's starting to feel realer and realer. I guarantee when I hear that national anthem next week, it'll be pretty real.
There's so much talent in this wide receiving core on this team, and it's a room that I know is very close. There's a few guys out there right now battling for those last couple of roster spots. I imagine for you, it's both fun and nerve-wracking.
Yeah. You know, for these guys, you come in and this is a dream. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, you know, and just being able to make the most of these opportunities. It's unfortunate that not everybody can make it. So I know that these guys are out here battling, and I'm out here. Any tips and tricks that I can give them, I'm going to be there for them. And like you said, it's a room where, you know, I got my brother in there. So I'm just excited to step on the field with him. I still can't believe that this happened and it's real. And I'm just ready to get started.
The world expects a lot from this offense, and I know you do too.
Absolutely. You know, we're coming out, and for me, I've always been a person who wants to put up as many points as possible. And having a defense like the one we have, not to say we shouldn't have to put up too many points, but they're going to go out there and make stops. So it's just going to be us to put it all together and put points on the board.
Odell Beckham Jr., thanks so much. Good luck this year.
John, thank you very much. That series for the Lions will end in, guess what, Tim? Another punt. A couple of guys making plays there. It was a nice play by Ray Armstrong. We also saw another pressure by Devereaux Lawrence. It looks like he shot out of a cannon coming off the ball.
Man, he is so quick coming off the line of scrimmage, and they can't get their hands on him. He's so strong and powerful as well, and he's in the backfield before they even know it.
That is a short punt that will hit and go out of bounds. Just squibbed off the foot of Ryan Santoso, so this will give the Browns their best starting field position of the night, almost at midfield, call it the 41-yard line for Garrett Gilbert, who's struggled tonight. In fact, this whole Browns offense, Tim, they've run 12 plays for a total of 16 yards.
Yeah, and he's had an opportunity for some big plays down the field. You know, we saw the one with Hyman on the post pattern where that one was dropped, and he's had some pressure in his face as well. So it's not all on Garrett, but the whole offensive unit is struggling tonight.
Actually, those numbers were the Lions numbers. So that Browns defense, 12 plays, 16 yards. And really the Browns offense right in that ballpark. They've run 19 plays, 72 yards. So they have moved the ball better, but not much. Dontrell Hilliard with a pickup of 2. Bernie, Dustin down on the field.
Going back to those Ishmael Hyman drops, Bernie, you were talking about the sidelines down here. Those are the kinds of plays that will haunt your dreams forever.
Yeah, like the offense has been struggling in the first half. Poor young man like that. dropping those plays, not only is it going to hurt his chances in the game today and the other teams looking at him, those are the type of plays that, as Tim could attest to, young receivers will remember that in their dreams for decades to come.
Yeah, and not to kill the young man, because he's had a heck of a camp, but like, you make a play like that, a deep ball, and you get behind the defense, that not only catches the coach's eyes here in Cleveland, but there's 31 other teams that are going to watch this game film, and it prohibits you maybe from getting that opportunity.
Yeah, just like Coach Kitchen said, and we talked earlier in the game, you get exposure or exposed in these type games, and to be able to come out and make that play, not only would it have been a nice play to get on film, but give him the confidence to keep moving forward.
Well, the good news is the game's not over, guys. Let's see if he can bounce back and maybe make a couple plays here in the second quarter or in the second half.
Well, we'd love to see him out there. Right now, he is a spectator as the Browns pick up a first down. They move the sticks. It is a first down for Cleveland, and Braxton Miller checks out of the game. 1st and 10 on the 40-yard line now as the Browns move it into Lions territory. Willie's back into the game. First time the Browns have moved the ball past midfield. And the give is to Hilliard, who finds a hole up the left side, now cuts it back, takes it down inside the 20-yard line for the biggest play of the night for either team.
Great job by that Cleveland Browns offensive line. Take a look at the left side of that line, a hat on a hat, and Hilliard does a great job. You see the contain come up from the outside. He was able to read that and cut that back to the inside and get it back down the sideline. Beautiful run that time by Dontrell Hilliard.
Nice job by that offensive line too, Tim, opening a huge hole for him to run through, allowing that play to happen.
There's some momentum going here for the Cleveland Browns offense for the first time in this game. They're starting to get the running game going now. Look for some play action down here in the red zone.
22 yards on the pickup, 1st and 10 on the 18-yard line. Hilliard, the lone setback, he gets it again. Makes the first man miss, gets it back to the line of scrimmage before being knocked back. I mentioned the run to pass disparity coming in, Tim. Obviously, the Browns aren't showing what they're going to do from a game plan standpoint, but you'd expect it to be a little more balanced coming in. They were throwing 2 passes for every run.
Yeah, I think Freddie feels really good about the run game once they get into the regular season with Nick Chubb and those guys, and Hilliard, and guys like maybe Dearness Johnson were to make the team. I think he feels comfortable with the running game. I think he really wanted to go out here and work on these wide receivers and see which one of these 4th, 5th, and 6th guys are going to make this football team.
Browns are in the red zone, brought to you by Serpentini Chevrolet, home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile powertrain warranty. Serpentini red zone. So last year, the Browns did a really good job, Tim, once they moved it into that all-important red zone. Tied for 6th in scoring efficiency, 48 possessions, 32 touchdowns. It's a good conversion rate.
It is, and I expect them to be even better in the red zone this year with the addition of guys like Odell Beckham Jr., who's obviously a red zone threat, and then you got Jarvis Landry, and the Njoku at tight end is going to be, a year in this system to be even better than he was a year ago, and the way they're able to run the ball with Nick Chubb as well. So I expect the Browns to be even better in that area.
Gilbert with time wanted Willie's in the end zone, but there was some miscommunication there. He broke off the route.
Yeah, not on the same page that time. Gilbert obviously seeing something different and wanted Willie's to take that thing to the back pylon.
So it's never a good thing when you don't convert inside the red zone, but I know Freddie Kitchens at this point wants every opportunity he can to look at the young kicker, Austin Seibert, who is 4 of 5 on field goal tries. He's been perfect on point afters. Hit the 54-yarder last week. This one from 36 yards. Good hold, and it is good. So the Browns jump on the scoreboard first. They get the field goal to jump out to the 3-0 lead. Detroit will take over on offense when we come back. The 4th preseason game is important for the coaches because cutdown day is Saturday, and Freddie was very much looking forward to seeing a lot of these fringe guys battle under extreme pressure conditions.
I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of these guys play, Thursday. The funny thing about competition is you're either exposed or you get exposure. All right, and competition brings that to the forefront, and that's when you start talking about a preseason game. That's the ultimate competition. That's what you have to go off of. How a guy's going to take it from the practice field to the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys respond.
Seibert's kick is taken out of the end zone and all kinds of room in front of him. Finally brought down on the play by Lindsey Pipkins. That was a touchdown-saving tackle. A terrific return that time by Brandon Powell.
A great return by Powell, and we really haven't seen this Cleveland Browns coverage unit give up a big play all preseason, Jay. So this is the first time we've seen this, and just good blocking by the Lions and great return. And Pipkins doing a great job hustling to get down there at the end of that play to save a touchdown.
Well, Justin Burris had a shot at him. He just slipped through his arms, and that set up the big 67-yard return. By far the best field position of the night for the Lions. Tom Savage still in at quarterback for the Lions. This time the give is to the deep man, who falls forward for a couple of yards. Nice job there by Burris on the tackle. Also in on it was Lindsey Pipkins. So, Tim, we've seen a little bit of football here tonight, about a quarter and a half. Who stood out?
Well, obviously, who jumps off the screen is Devereaux Lawrence. And, you know, Freddie mentioned you get exposure, and Lawrence has gotten exposure. And, you know, Jay, it started with the first play of the game. He gets a sack on the first play of the game. He's been held twice, or we had a couple more sacks, and he's got a couple more pressures as well. So he's been outstanding in this football game.
Lindsey Pipkins is the injured Brown. We'll take a quick timeout, check on his status when we come back. Be sure to subscribe to the Browns YouTube channel to stay up to date with all your Browns news and get caught up on the latest episodes of Building the Browns. Plus, coming all new this fall, it's the debut of Club 46, featuring Browns legends telling their memorable stories, from Paul Warfield to Phil Dawson and many more. To see it all, subscribe to youtube.com/Browns. Lindsey Pipkins, the injured Browns player, walked off the field on his own power, so that's a good sign. Detroit now, 2nd down and 7 from deep in Browns territory, and down goes Savage. Again, that Cleveland Browns pass rush coming hot and heavy. And Ray Armstrong with the dance of the night.
Well, that play took a long time to develop. Great job in the secondary by the Cleveland Browns. Savage had to hold on to this football, and you know this Browns front can get after the quarterback. Savage had a running back trying to block him, or Armstrong had a running back trying to block him, and was able to give a swim move and get into the backfield and get Savage on the ground. And great job of that Cleveland Browns front.
14-yard loss on the play, and again, this Browns defensive pass rush just
relentless.
It doesn't matter if it's the starters or the second team; they love to get after quarterbacks. Detroit just 3 net passing yards on the night, and that one is dropped by Mark Thompson. That will bring up 4th down and 21. So the Lions had it in a part of the field where they could have tried a long field goal, but the sack takes them out of field goal range. Did you see anything here, Tim?
You know, I didn't see anything, Jay. I thought he did a great job making that tackle and holding on until his teammates got there, and then he got up and walked off, and then just kind of went back down. And you got to think maybe a cramp or something like that. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but you know, hopefully we'll get some word on that soon.
Thompson at 240 pounds, not easy to bring down, but the 195-pound Pipkins doing a terrific job to hold on to that ankle. Ernest Johnson catches it and fumbles, but quick to fall on it. So the Browns will take over again, deep in their own territory. When we come back, Cleveland leading Detroit 3-0. And Odell haven't connected in a preseason game this year, but Tim, they've certainly been working on timing. And here tonight before the game, Baker and Odell, watch this catch. Nothing but a one-hander.
No big deal, just a little left.
This is my favorite part.
And goes right into an autograph.
Let me sign this for you real quick. There you go. A couple of signatures, and then let me get back to work.
That's pretty cool. Just so routine for him. He just doesn't even break stride as he goes over to sign the autographs.
Just over 7 minutes to go now, 2nd quarter. And there's movement up front. And that'll back the Browns up a yard.
Neutral zone infraction.
Or not.
Defense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, good. It looked like someone on that Browns line moved, but it wasn't until after the line. Actually, I think they moved at the same time, but
yeah,
the Lions
62.
get called for it. That'll bring up first down and 5. So, Gilbert, your impressions so far tonight? 7 of 16, 59 yards passing.
Well, I think he's played okay. He's not getting a lot of help with the wide receivers have dropped some balls. He's had some pressure in his face, and they just got the running game going on that last possession. But he's throwing the ball well. He's making good decisions.
Ish Hyman, again, the intended receiver, and it falls incomplete. And Tim, we talked about Hyman's night. A nightmarish start. That would have helped. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, he didn't really have a chance on that one. It was great coverage, and he didn't have a chance to come back for it. And
so 2nd down 5 now for Gilbert. They'll try to move it on the ground, and there's some room up the left side for Dontrell Hilliard, who takes it up for a first down and finally out of bounds. Dustin down on the field with an injury update. Dustin?
I just got word Pipkins is questionable to return. It is his back, lower back.
All right, thank you, Dustin. Freddie Kitchens looking at his call sheet. Would love to see this Browns offense put together some kind of a meaningful drive before the first half ends. Again, Hilliard on the ground. Nice opening there. Pickup of 5 yards. Hilliard has looked good so far. Obviously, when they traded Duke Johnson early in camp, you felt that the Browns coaching staff and front office had to be pretty comfortable that Hilliard could step in and fill that role, at least for the first half of the season, while they're waiting for Kareem Hunt to come off of suspension.
yeah, I think so. I think they have a lot of confidence in Hilliard, and he's a versatile back. He can play all 3 downs. He can run in between the tackles. He can also throw him the football out of the backfield, and he pass protects well. So he's a trustworthy back that they feel confident in.
2nd and 4, and that play right there demonstrates as well as any what Braxton Miller can do with the football in his hands. There is a flag down, but the completion was enough for a first down. Let's see what the call is.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
So that'll negate the pickup, but boy, Tim, he just makes guys miss.
Yeah, he's so quick out in open space. It's just hard to get a hand on the guy. He just makes plays with the ball in his hands. That's the way they want to use him. And just so impressed by Braxton Miller, just being here just over a week and really doesn't even know the playbook yet, Jaden. He said last week against Tampa, he didn't even know the plays. They told him what route to run in the huddle. And it's impressive that a guy can come out here and make plays in that circumstance.
Travis Vorncall whistled for the penalty. That'll back the Browns up to the 16-yard line, bring up 2nd down and 14. He was talking about the Browns playbook. I was surprised. He said this is the easiest playbook he's ever had to learn.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I think he's been in a few systems, and he's a smart guy. And playing quarterback in the past, I think, really helps you be able to pick up a playbook and understand what's going on pretty quickly.
Gilbert hurries his throw. That is actually caught by Vorncall for the completion. The ball was tipped. It was hanging in the air for long enough. So after the penalty, the big fella comes back and makes a play.
He's trying to make up for that penalty. You know, if he was thinking about it, you just want to bat that ball down because you don't want to take this loss. But of course, he's trying to make a play and turn it around the corner there and act like a running back.
Actually did lose some yardage after making the catch. That'll bring up a long 3rd down here, 3rd down and 20. It's hard to think in the moment. You see the ball hanging there. Who doesn't want to be the hero?
Exactly. It's just natural reaction to catch the ball. It's right there, and as an offensive lineman, as a quarterback, when the ball gets batted up, we're taught to knock it down. We don't want to catch it back there. But as an offensive lineman, you don't get that opportunity very often. And obviously, he's going to try and catch it and make something happen.
The layup game. Offense, number 3. After distance to the goal, still 3rd down.
This drive is just going in the wrong direction.
2 weeks in a row, this offense has really struggled, and certainly Freddie Kitchen's not going to be happy about that.
No, I wouldn't imagine so. 3rd down and 24. At this point, you'd like to just pick up some kind of yardage to make sure that Gillen isn't punting with his feet at the back line. Time for Gilbert. Has his man. It's Miller, who loves to make that first guy look silly. Another flag down.
Holding. Offense, number 77. The foul occurred in the end zone, resulted in a safety. 2 points, Detroit.
So I don't think you could have a worse drive for an offensive lineman. The rookie from Texas A&M whistled for illegal use of hands in the end zone after catching a ball that was tipped and resulted in about a 7-yard loss, and he was also whistled for a penalty earlier in the drive.
Yeah, that was a tough drive, and you know that's a tough one. That hurts the confidence there. 2 penalties, 1 given up for a safety, and then as you mentioned, Jay called a pass and lost yards on that as well. So obviously he's kind of down on himself right now on the sideline.
So 3-2 Cleveland. Sounds like an Indians-Tigers game. And looks like Njoku and is that Denzel Ward? Who is that he's with? Snapping out some push-ups there on the sidelines. That is not Denzel Ward.
Not sure who that is. It's getting a quick workout in over there.
It could be Harris, who's also a tight end. So here we go now. The Browns will kick the ball away. And Gillen's
great kick.
Punt, my goodness. Drives the return man all the way back to the 10-yard line, but outkicks the coverage.
Gillen again on the tackle.
And Gillen, with his 3rd tackle this preseason, grabs the football. I think he says, I want that. It's mine. There is a flag down, but you know that might be one of those situations, Tim, where the kick was too good.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Return team, number 38. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Detroit keeps the ball. 1st down.
Yeah, the kick may have been too good, Jay. He outkicked his coverage that time, but once again, at the end of this play, watch Gillen. He's actually getting blocked and still comes off the block to make this tackle. That's an excellent play for a linebacker, a DB. I don't care who it is, much less a punter. He's very physical at that position. Excellent job again out in the open field for Gillen.
And I love it. He grabbed the football and ran to the sideline with it. I think he now has a souvenir. And if the punting thing doesn't work out, Tim, he might have a job as a gunner or a linebacker or something.
He's got the arms for it, right? They can put some weight on him and bulk him up a little bit.
He's on the Tim Couch curl plan.
Arms every day, right?
That's exactly right. Another penalty. It's hard to get in any kind of rhythm for either offense, Tim, because it seems like these penalties are just coming every other play.
Yeah, it's been a sloppy game so far for both offenses, and just a lot of penalties and a lot of playing behind the chains.
We'll wait to hear on the call.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 75. After distance to the goal, replay, 1st down.
Leo Kolamatungi whistled for the block. So you look at that punting job, and obviously Colquitt's an established punter in the league. You want to bring competition in at every position. Oftentimes when you bring in an undrafted free agent, it's just that. It's a body in camp and you want to push the starter, but I don't know that Gillen has done nothing to hurt himself, for sure. He's got a huge leg, and when you make plays like that on special teams, you make it very difficult for the coaching staff to release you on Saturday.
I agree with you, Jay. I think he's done an amazing job throughout training camp and throughout the preseason. He continues to impress. And yeah, we know what Colquitt brings to this football team. He's a 10-year vet. He's consistent. But, you know, Gillen does a great job as well. And it's going to come down to really who they feel more comfortable with holding the ball. You know, for Seibert or Joseph, whoever the kicker may be. But he's impressed. If he doesn't make it with the Cleveland Browns, surely he's impressed another team in this league enough to make a roster.
Mac Wilson fighting through some blocks to make the tackle there. And this Browns defense, whether it's been first team or second team, has really excelled this preseason. And when you look at the weapons they have offensively, it may not take many points for the Browns to get into the win column on Sundays. Pass is completed, and the receiver makes the first man miss, and then finally taken out of bounds.
A missed tackle out there on the perimeter that time by Thomas. He had an opportunity to get the wide receiver on the ground for a short gain, but Fulgham slips the tackle and moves the chains on a 2nd and 16 play.
So a big pickup for the Lions, who remain with Tom Savage at quarterback. Like the Browns, the Lions have no quarterback issues. Matthew Stafford, clearly one of the best in the league, and he will be ready to go when the season begins for Detroit. So we're coming up on the 2-minute warning here, and it looks as if Detroit is content to take it to the 2-minute warning. So thrilling first half, Tim. 3-2 Cleveland.
This is the 2-minute warning.
We'll see what the final 2 minutes of the first half have in store when we come back. Sean, Kate, Jenny, and Luke. That is the family of our fine producer, Stephen Fennig. And these, look, we've got a partial sellout. We'll be kind and call it a partial sellout.
Partial sellout.
This crew came all the way from Massachusetts to watch this.
And enjoying it too. Looks like the kids are having a great night.
Matthew Stafford is listening to something other than the game, I can promise you.
Yeah, for sure. It's in his iPod over there.
Use this time to listen to some podcasts, perhaps. 2nd down and 11. The Lions apparently in no hurry to make anything happen before 2 minutes, which is surprising, Tim. You'd think that they would want to get Savage some 2-minute reps.
Timeout, Cleveland. They're first.
Cleveland said, if you're not going to do it, we'll do it. So there's veteran Colquitt on the left, the rookie Gillen on the right. No doubt talking about hair care tips.
Or that or tackling drills. Talking about the rugby-style tackle, where it shows in Gillen's game.
And if you're a veteran and you're being pushed in camp by a rookie, you know the score. I mean, you know that you could be watching your job slip away.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in. And, you know, I think that they've got 2 good guys. You know, it's tough to choose from. You know, you've got a veteran who's very consistent, been doing it in this league for a long time. You've got a young, flashy rookie that comes in with a huge leg and can make plays in the coverage unit as well. So it's a tough situation for those guys.
3rd and 8 for the Lions. The Browns hoping to get the ball back. Savage to throw. He's being chased and throws it to no one.
Guess who?
Yeah, exactly.
Devereaux Lawrence again in the face of Tom Savage. They really can't block him. You see him here just to the right of your screen, and they try to double team him, Jay. You see him split the double team and get back to the backfield to Savage. And just like they were doing to Jameis Winston last week in Tampa Bay, the front 4 getting after him 5 or 6 times, getting him on the ground. Lawrence is all over Tom Savage in this football game.
So deep to receive the Browns punt, and what a story this young man has been, Chihi Giuseppe.
Love to see him get one more this year.
I would too. He has an 80-plus yard return for a touchdown. He puts that one on the ground. The ball is loose, and who comes away with it? Some of the Lions are celebrating as if they have it. it remains Cleveland football. That won't help your case.
No, it won't help his case at all. It looked like he took his eyes off the football and was looking at the coverage unit coming down the field before he secured the ball. Took a shot at the end of that play as well. You see him just kind of take his eyes off the football, just trying to make a play. And takes a big hit there, trying to get back on the ball. It was a tough play for Sheehy.
Yeah, that is a big hit. Unfortunately, Donnie Lewis Jr., the rookie, falls on it.
During the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 46. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So we had 29 penalties in the second preseason game. There were 16, I believe, whistled on the Colts, 13 on the Browns. We are at not even at halftime, and there are 13 penalties already in this football.
Wow, it's been ugly first half. Offense has struggled as well. We'll see if they can get something going in here in this 2-minute drill. Garrett Gilbert had an opportunity earlier in the preseason to run a 2-minute drill. Did a nice job. We'll see if he can do it again.
Gilbert incomplete, looking for Braxton Miller.
Forced it that time to Braxton Miller. Braxton was double teamed and they had the in route coming over the top of that and just kind of forced that one in there a little.
When you look at the quarterbacks here, Drew Stanton hasn't played much. It looks as though at this point that Garrett Gilbert probably has the inside track, although David Blau has played very well this preseason. That time it's caught, and it is good for Ish because we've seen him drop a couple. Ish Hyman, the rookie trying to make this team, certainly feel better about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Hyman needed that play. That's a tough catch across the middle in traffic and does something with it after the catch, keeps this drive alive.
Gilbert gets the club quickly to the line. This time it's complete to Derek Willis, who breaks a tackle and has room up the left side. Finally tackled at the 32-yard line.
Great play, great throw and catch, and that's two guys back-to-back trying to make this football team. And Hyman and Willis, they make plays on this drive. Willie with the deep in cut, great timing and great location on the throw by Garrett Gilbert. And Willie shows he's got a little run after the catch ability as well.
And credit Gilbert, he stood in there and took a hit after the throw, but delivered a strike and now has the Browns pushing field goal range. Gilbert again to Willis, who quickly and alertly runs out of bounds at the 22-yard line.
Impressive drive this time by Derek Willis. Two catches back-to-back here. Big wide receiver, 6'4". This is the type of throws you love, throwing to the 6'4" guys out on the sideline, just kind of body position, get out there, get in front of the DB and just post him up and you throw it to the outside. Makes a play for you.
So if the Browns pick up nothing from here, it would be a 40-yard field goal try. But you know, Freddie would love to see this offense punch it in for a touchdown. Look at those passing yards. 6 for the Lions, 110 for Gilbert and the Browns. Low snap. Gilbert, wide open field in front of him. He pulls it in and runs, but flags all over the field after he's brought down at the 11-yard line. Shocked to see those flags, Tim?
Not at all.
While the quarterback was in the pocket, holding, defense, number 46. 5-yard penalty adds it into the play. First down.
Yardage added to the end of the play.
I think Gilbert did a great job of recognition. It was a cover two man that time, and when you get cover two man as a quarterback, all the defenders' backs are turned to you. If you can find a running lane to step up into, you got a lot of room out there to operate, a lot of green grass, and Gilbert did a great job of finding that.
He was brought down at the 12. They'll move it forward 5 to the 7. Browns in the red zone, brought to you by Serpentini Chevrolet, home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile powertrain warranty. Gilbert in the gun, trips up top. Willis with time, throws, caught, touchdown Browns. Dontrell Hilliard finds the end zone for the game's first touchdown. And that, Tim, was a nice looking drive.
Great looking drive, and Really excited to get the chance to see Gilbert operate the 2-minute drill, and boy, he operated it to perfection that time, distributing the football to all of his receivers. Got Hyman involved, Willie's caught a couple, and then he caps it off with a touchdown pass to his running back Dontrell Hilliard.
I'm a little confused by Patricia deciding not to try to work something with 2-minute warning for his young quarterback. The Browns forced the issue, calling a timeout, got the ball back, and allowed their young quarterback to push it the length of the field for a touchdown.
And that was big for a lot of guys on that offensive unit that time. Gilbert needed that. That was big for him. Hyman needed to make that catch. Willie's needed to make those plays. And obviously, great job by Hilliard just finishing that drive off. And great route. It took a while. And look at that offensive line. Look at the protection that Gilbert has to stand in there and wait for that thing to develop, because that was almost like a broken play. I think Hilliard was supposed to go across the middle, and it wasn't there, and he kind of banked it back out to the outside where there was some grass, and Gilbert was able to find it.
The Browns' 6th touchdown this preseason, Tim. All 6 touchdowns have been the throwing variety.
Yeah, explosive playmakers on this Cleveland Browns offense at wide receiver, and these running backs, I'll tell you, they catch the football really well out of the backfield. Ernest Johnson does a great job, and Hilliard shows he can catch the football out of the backfield as well.
Gilbert on the drive, 4 of 5 throwing, 64 yards, including the touchdown. The drive lasted just 1:11, covered 80 yards, and really was an impressive drive by Garrett Gilbert, picking his guys, making some nice throws, and really spreading the ball all over the field. It wasn't just one guy. It was Hilliard, it was Willies, it was Hyman, it was Braxton Miller. Just a nice-looking touchdown drive for Cleveland, who now leads 10-2. Seibert's kick unable to be returned because it's a low-line drive that goes through the back of the end zone. So, Tim, take us through the drive.
I thought Garrett did a nice job getting rid of the football. The offensive line gave him plenty of protection. Hyman makes a big play, a bounce-back play for him. Then he gets Willies involved, his big 6'4" wide receiver across the middle, gets some run after the catch, gets the ball down here. Then he goes right back to Willies on the sideline and distributing the football to all of his guys and sitting in the pocket here on the touchdown pass to Hilliard. Great job by that Cleveland Browns offensive line, putting up a wall in front of Garrett Gilbert to throw the football.
Hilliard with a nice night of work. Now the Lions with 21 seconds, and you have to think they're going to just take this to halftime. They will get the ball to start the second half. Want to use this time to tease the fact that Browns GM John Dorsey will join us in the booth for the third quarter. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot of these position battles to see who has the upper hand after one half of football here tonight. John Doss down on the field with Browns head coach Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, guys, here with head coach Freddie Kitchens. Boy, that defense picked up where it left off in Tampa, especially that pass rush.
Yeah, they did. But that's the expectation, and that's the we want that to become the norm. And I think they're buying into that, and we'll see. As long as they keep playing hard and cut down the mental areas, we'll be okay.
Offense finally got it going there in the last drive. You got 30 minutes of preseason football left. What do you got to see from them in the second half?
Yeah, the same thing. Let's cut out some of these penalties and see where we're at. It seems like every time we hit a chunk, we either have a drop ball or a penalty. So I'd like to see it without those two things.
Coach, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
10-2 Browns with one half of football remaining in the 2019 preseason. We've got much more for you. The halftime show from First Energy Stadium coming up. Quarterback stats brought to you by First Energy, your hometown energy team. 10-2 Browns leading the Lions here at halftime of the final preseason game of 2019. And it's a nice night for Garrett Gilbert, 13 of 24, 117 yards, but he really looked good, Tim, on that last drive.
He looked good. I thought he played well the entire first half. He had a couple drops. He had the opportunity for some big plays that receivers dropped. They were behind the chains a lot with penalties, but I thought especially in the 2-minute drill he performed really well.
Well, this is perfect timing because obviously the coaching staff and the front office have a lot of work to do between now and cut-down day on Saturday, and John Dorsey, Browns general manager, will join us for part of the third quarter here. And, John, there have been so many position battles talked about this preseason. Obviously, kicker, punter. There's some work to be done on that offensive line. But in your mind, what was the biggest position battle coming into tonight for you?
I think in this battle it was the defensive line and where we're going to make our decisions, because it's not only the combination of the defensive lines, we have some very talented defensive backs
1, 2, 3, 4.
also. So then you have to work certain numbers with regards to how you build that 53. And as you see, I mean, there's some guys out here now just busting their fannies and really playing that whale of a game.
Well, Deverell Lawrence just jumps right off the screen. And we were talking in the first half. It's so important, John, as you know, to have depth at that position. So you're bringing guys with fresh legs in to get after quarterbacks. It looks like not only is that front four going to be very fearsome, but the rotational guys coming in love to get after quarterbacks as well.
No, that, you know, as you well know, and Tim well knows, you have to have in today's football, you have to have rotational depth. I mean, we have the front line's good, but it also counts on those other guys getting 20, 30 snaps a game as well, because the starter guys can actually make an impact in the fourth quarter when it really counts.
What's been your thoughts on the both rookie, the kicker and the punter with Gillen and Seibert? They had an opportunity to play the entire game last week against Tampa Bay. Same thing here tonight, and I think both of those guys have really taken advantage of that opportunity. What's your thoughts on those two rookies?
Well, I mean, you said the magic word, rookie. So what it is, you know what Brittany Colquitt does. You know what Greg Josephs can do. So now what you do is you try to give those young guys game reps, and that's kind of why you do this. And these guys, I mean, they've done really nice, and they continue to do this.
Justin Burris on the tackle of the kickoff return, so the Lions will take over on offense. John, it looks like that quarterback room is loaded with depth, and Gilbert has really looked good during his preseason time so far. Yeah,
you know, it's a credit to Ryan Lindley, Todd Munkins, and Freddie Kitchens, because that he has come in here, he has done everything that they have asked him to do, and now he stands in there, and I mean, that drive that he made there at the end was fabulous, because he stood in there, and all of a sudden he's scrambling like Tim Couch was back in the old days.
A little quicker than I was, that's for sure.
So Josh Johnson in now at quarterback for the Lions as we get ready to start the second half. And flags everywhere. I can't believe there's a flag to start the second half.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And there he is, Gilbert on the sidelines. Freddie telling us yesterday that he hoped to put Gilbert back in to start the second half as well, just to sort of give him the feel of game day reps if he was to be the guy coming out of halftime and staying in the game, even though he's here in the preseason.
You know, it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, because that drive at the first half there, that kind of really showed, I think, what Freddie was trying to see coming out in the beginning of the second half. So we'll see what happens here.
Anthony Zettel on the stop. After the penalty, that'll bring up second down and 16. John, so much has been said and written about the transformation of this football team, and I know there are still major steps that need to happen, but where we stand right now at the end of the 2019 preseason, sort of characterize how you feel about where this football team is.
I would say if you would take training camp, because I measure everything by training camp, it was competitive. The coaches put them in stressful situations. These guys competed. But what I really like about these guys really like being around each other. And Tim, you know this as well as anybody, that creates that culture within that locker room. But the Cleveland Browns are, those guys in that locker room. And that's a good thing for me to see as training camp unfolded.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And, so much talent, obviously, on this roster. Just taking a look at it jumps off the page at you. But that talent has to gel together. Like you said, those guys have to enjoy working with each other every day and working towards a common goal and getting better. And this team certainly has that. And John, I want to ask about Wyatt Teller. You made the trade to get Wyatt, bring him over from Buffalo. And what does he bring to the table, and why did you guys feel like you need to go out and get him?
Well, it gives us some depth at that position. We have some young guys there, but he's actually lined up. He started 7 games in the National Football League. He's a younger guy. I think he's got developmental upside. I liked him in college, and I think he can help the offense. Grow the offensive line. And that's kind of what you want. You can't have enough good football players, and there's another one we acquired.
So Johnson keeping it on back-to-back plays here. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 1. Obviously, John, that move is a move that you felt was one that needed to be made. We know that even if you make the original cuts down to the 53 on Saturday, your guys' real work begins when you start scouring the waiver wire to look at the other available names. Tell us what that process is like, really what the next 48 to 72 hours will be like for you and the front office.
Well, I think organizationally it's one of the most difficult times in National Football Leagues, not only for coaches but personnel, because first off, you have to tell young men you're not good enough to play for our team. So I think you have to have a degree of empathy when you approach this, and you have to be very dignified, and you have to do this in the right manner. And then now after that unfolds, then you're now looking to see where you can upgrade your roster via still be trades or waiver claims. And that's what we'll try to do, and we'll work steadily at that to see, in fact, if we can upgrade the back end of our roster.
Baker had such a big year last year and did so many things well, but I know we haven't seen him very much in preseason. But what have you seen from Baker and his growth from year 1 to year 2 so far?
You know, I really like about him I would say the last 8 weeks, he's the first guy in the building. I mean, he's there. Whenever I slide into the quarterback room just to say good morning, he's always there. You know what he's doing? He's breaking down defenses. He's trying to understand what defenses would be like. Because you well know that in that second year growth of quarterbacks, now all of a sudden the verbiage is there and you know where receivers are going to be. Now let's understand what the defense is and how they're going to attack me. And I think they've done a great job of just trying to break that down together.
So I think that as a quarterback, that's the toughest thing to learn coming out of college. And Baker and I played in the same system, the air raid system in college. And that's the biggest thing I had to learn, was learning how to get myself protected and seeing where the blitzes were coming from and getting comfortable at getting in and out of the right protections at the line of scrimmage. And I think that's where I had my most growth from year 1 to year 2 as well.
Was that Hal Mummy?
That was Hal Mummy, yeah.
Oh,
Mike Leach.
Yeah, Mike, there you go. That was a great offense.
It was a great offense. You know, it's really spread throughout college football now. I mean, so many teams are running it, and now it's even into the NFL with Kingsbury coming in and installing it. So it's been a great system.
David Blau into the game for the Cleveland Browns at quarterback. So John's comments about perhaps Freddie seeing enough from Garrett Gilbert with that last-minute drive for a touchdown, dead on. So Gilbert's night is done, and now it is Blau's turn to see if he can catch the attention of this coaching staff. And he's another player, John, that's had a really nice preseason. He's done everything you guys have asked of.
He's done everything, and you know what? All he does is step in and make plays, and that's all you can ask for in that position. He gets along great with the quarterbacks. He understands the concepts that the coaches are trying to install. And what I like about him, he's got really good eyes down the field. He can find those guys in the medium. I mean, he can find these guys. And, you know, that's a credit to him.
I think so. I think he throws the football with tremendous timing, too. With a young guy like that, he throws the ball with a lot of anticipation, and he was coached well by Jeff Brom in college and that system, so it's really translating over to the NFL. And if he doesn't make this roster, I think he's got a great shot to make someone else's team. He's a promising young quarterback.
He's performed very well.
He told us yesterday that obviously being from Texas and then going to Purdue, Drew Brees has always been his guy. And as an undersized quarterback, he's always looked at Drew to sort of show him the way. That one is batted and intercepted by that Lions defense. Looked like the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Jonathan Alston coming up with the interception. Let's see what happened.
I think that was number 69, Jonathan Wynn, and the defensive line that got a hand on Blau's throwing arm as he was trying to get the ball down the field. And see it coming here right at the end. And just got it in right as he was trying to release the football. And tough break for Blau. Just obviously didn't see the defensive end or defensive lineman coming around the end.
Came free, got the arm, and that led to the turnover. That's just the second Browns interception of this preseason. So the Lions take over 1st and 10 now at the Browns 31-yard line. John, has there been a player who kind of snuck in under the radar that has really impressed you this camp?
I mean, you know what? There's a lot of young, like, when I say sneak under, are we talking college free agents? I mean, that's how I look at sneaking under. And there has been some guys that have really caught your attention. You're going, you know what? Let's keep a closer eye on this guy. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I sit down on the field in the fourth preseason game is because the young guys get a lot of exposure. So it gives me a chance to actually see the game right there live on the sidelines, because you can really learn a lot of things when you're doing that.
What's been your thoughts so far? And I know Braxton Miller's only been here a little over a week, but he made an impact on the game in Tampa Bay right away. He caught 2 quick passes in that game. He's caught some more here tonight, and his run after the catch ability is pretty special, it looks like.
Now, all along, we've always kind of liked him out of college, and then he's trying to learn the offense as quick as he can. So, what Freddie and the guys have done is dial in some plays for him so he can get the ball as quickly as possible. And you want to see him run after the catch. He's done some nice things in Tampa. He did some nice things here tonight.
3rd down and 5 for Johnson and the Lions. Heavy pass rush coming. Johnson sneaks out of the backfield and squirms forward for enough yardage to move the chains. It's a Lions 1st down. Mentioned Devereaux Lawrence, and his story is just an incredible one. From being a young guy who really found himself going home to home, did find some trouble, eventually found his way to Auburn, and then once he got with the Saints, had a couple of surgeries, but has really kind of stood up in the face of all this adversity and played extremely well. John, I'll get your comments after the break. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll hear from John on Devereaux Lawrence right after this. (10-2) Browns over the Lions. We're with Browns GM John Dorsey. And John, before the break, I was talking about Devereaux Lawrence and his spirit. It's obvious Freddie is just in love with this young man. What have been your impressions?
He's a very infectious personality. Guys love him in the locker room. You were mentioning his journey to Auburn. Before he hurt his knee at Auburn, I mean, he was a spectacular football player. And he kind of got lost in the cracks there. And, we acquired him on a trade last year with the New Orleans Saints for a 7th-round pick. Added some depth. He's one of those interior guys we talk about that can spell and add depth to those other 2 defensive linemen. And I think I'm so pleased with how well he has played this preseason game.
He's been unblockable at times, and you get the sense that he's going to be a guy that down the road, folks are going to say, how did John get him for a 7th-round pick? Because he's just really performed well here, even in practice, going against the Browns offensive line. At times, Freddie's had to stop practice and say, guys, you can't stop this guy. We need to stop him.
He loves the game of football. He's passionate. I mean, and once he walks out on those lines, he is so competitive. I mean, it's just fun to watch him.
Johnson on the keeper takes it in for the Lions' first touchdown after the pass interference call that kept the drive alive, whistled on Robert Jackson. So that makes it a 10-8 game.
That was a great play by Johnson because Jannard Avery actually played that perfectly and kept contained on the outside, but Johnson was able to make him miss in the hole.
So the Lions will kick the extra point, or attempt the extra point, try to make it a 10-9 game. Before we let you go, John, Baker's had a lot of different looks during this training camp. And after the point after, we're going to head to commercial, but I want you to sort of be a fashion critic of our guy Baker's different looks. He's had the beard, he's had the mustache, and I was just wondering if you had a favorite as the PAT is up and good. Here are some of the shots. What do you think?
No.
No on the beard. No on the beard.
Definitely no. Definitely no.
It suits his personality.
What about the Fu Manchu?
Not so much.
Not so much. What about this?
No. He actually did a great job with that. Appreciate you.
He did. John,
thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate
Always
it.
A pleasure.
Thank
Tim,
you.
Jay, thank you.
Continued success to John Dorsey, the general manager of the Cleveland Browns. 10-9 Browns lead. We're back after this. So Josh Johnson, 7th-year man, takes this Detroit Lions team down the field and into the end zone for their first touchdown of the night to make it a 1-point game. Johnson with some of that run-pass option makes things a little difficult, as that's not so common anymore in the NFL, but gives the Browns a nice opportunity to see that should they run into it in the regular season. That kick deep into the end zone and will come out to the 25-yard line, or where the Browns will take over 1st and 10 now with David Blau in for his 2nd series. Not a real opportunity to see much of him in the first series of the second half, Tim, as he hit while he was throwing an interception.
That's always tough for a quarterback. You come into the game trying to make something happen, and you get the ball knocked out of your hand, get your arm hit as you're trying to throw down the field, and results in an interception. You see how he bounces back here on this possession.
Browns will keep it on the ground to start this second series of the second half. Trayon Gray with the carry. Pickup of a couple, 2nd down and 7. And Gray is a player that Freddie has pointed out to us a number of times. He's high on him. Thinks he has a chance to perhaps stick with the Browns. Stood out on special teams especially.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's, 6'1", 233 pounds in the backfield, run in between the tackles, and they just want him to get his pads down when he runs. He runs a little high right now, and Freddie's really trying to work with him and focus on getting that pad level down so he can take that next level and hopefully make this football team.
Might be a guy that sticks with the practice squad. We talked to John about the work that this Browns front office will put in between really tonight all the way through Saturday, but once they make cuts, then the real work begins, because now they have to look at the 31 other teams and the 45 or 50 players that they've cut free, and they need to make judgment calls on whether or not any of them happen to be better than the players that the Browns kept.
Yeah, it's going to be a few sleepless nights for the Browns front office trying to make all these decisions and go through all that, as you mentioned, Jay.
Lyle's deep throw for Derek Willis is intercepted by Jamar Summers. So his last 2 pass attempts picked off by the Detroit Lions, and Detroit will take over again after the Blau interception. 10-9, Browns lead from First Energy Stadium. During halftime of tonight's game, players took the field to complete the 9th season of the Adapted Football League. The program offers children with disabilities the opportunity to participate in an organized, competitive, and developmental sport. Lions take over. 7:09 to go here in the 3rd quarter, the 4th and final preseason game we play for real 9 days from now. And the Browns will welcome Tennessee to First Energy. That run play sniffed out early. A gain of maybe a yard on the play. Nice job there by the Browns defense.
No one blocked him. Free runner right to the running back.
Second down 13 after the stop of a 3-yard loss. Detroit will keep it on the ground. Nothing happening up the middle. So James Williams tries to kick it to the outside, but manages to lose a couple of more yards.
Officials timeout for an incomplete.
Williams running the football with great effort that time. Nothing up the middle. Tries to bounce it to the outside, but Browns stay at home, and Gaines gets him on the ground.
Nice tackle. Isaac Nauta, the injured player, coming off the field for the Lions. The one thing I took from John, I'm interested to get your take on that. When we were talking about the kickers, he emphasized rookies. He said that's the important thing here. Have either of these rookies, in your eyes, done enough to unseat the returning kicker and punter?
I think Seibert has really performed well. I think he's starting to really come into his own and starting to feel comfortable out there on the field. And he just, last week against Tampa, we're going 4 for 4 and get an opportunity to play the whole game. I think he really settled into the game and starting to look comfortable. Then here again tonight, he's performed really well again. But, I think he just means that, the other guys have been here before. They're veterans. They know exactly what those guys can do and what their weaknesses are. Now they're trying to learn the same thing about these rookies as well.
Diggy Sanko, the man on the stop for the Browns, just short of a Lions first down. This is the area of the field where you want to be aware of a fake. 4th down and 1 on the Browns' 48-yard line. See what Detroit has planned here. And Santos does boot it away. And not much that the Browns could do there. Sheehy Giuseppe let it bounce, and it is down inside the 5-yard line. 7-yard line, correction. That's where the Browns will take over on offense when we come back. And Browns over the Lions' left side of your screen there when the white jacket moved. There you go. That's what a football player looks like right there, Tim Couch. That is Chris Spielman saying hello to Jim Donovan on the Browns sideline. 20 years ago tomorrow, he called it a career, and what a career he had. A great career, teammate of mine. I was actually here on the field with Chris 20 years ago when he went down with a neck injury and had to retire, and what a great opportunity to get to play with him. That was my rookie season, and just kind of took me under his wing. And I remember I would try to get to the facility really early, Jay. I wanted to be the first guy in there and just kind of, because I'm coming in as the #1 pick, I didn't want to think anything was given to me. I wanted to work for it, and I wanted to be the first guy in the building. And I remember I walked in one morning, it must have been 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and all the lights are off except in the weight room. I can hear these weights bouncing off the floor and bouncing off the floor. It's Chris Spielman already in there, and he says, "You're going to have to get here earlier than that, Rook, if you're going to beat me in the building." That's a great story. One of the all-time greats. Terrific career here in Ohio. Played at Massillon High School, and of course collegiately at Ohio State. Just epitomizes what a defensive football player is all about. Completion there for the Buckeyes, or for the Browns, to Ish Hyman. And that's going to be enough for a first down. Buckeyes on the brain talking about Chris. He was so good in those Ohio State games against Michigan. Just, it'd be nothing for him to get 18, 20 tackles when he was playing against the Michigan Wolverines. He loved to hate that team. I always found it ironic that he went and played his pro football many years for the Detroit Lions in the shadow of Ann Arbor. Just an absolutely great football player. And even in high school, wasn't he on the Wheaties box coming out of high school? Was it Massillon High School that he went to? Absolutely. Terrific high school, collegiate, and professional career. Just epitomizes what a football player is all about. A.J. Aulette on the carry. There is a flag down. Looks like the Browns are in retreat mode.
Holding. Defense, number 61. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic. First down.
Defensive holding. So the offense quickly starts chugging upfield the other way. Aulette, 5'9", 210-pounder. He's a rookie, played his college football at Ohio University. Signed originally by the Saints as an undrafted free agent. Blau to throw, all kinds of time. And completes it again to Aulette, who's first preseason action of the year has been busy so far to start this drive. A couple of carries, reception there. Good to see Blau get some completions on this drive. His last 2 passes before this was picked off, and comes back on this drive, is able to get a pass completed to Hyman. That time he drops it down to Aulette out of the backfield, so hopefully he can get something going on this drive and bounce back and get a little confidence. He joined us yesterday in our production meetings. Just an outstanding young man to give to Aulette for a couple. He talked to us about his relationship with young Tyler Trent. That was the young man battling cancer. Purdue actually made him an honorary captain, and it got a little dusty in there, Tim, when he talked about Tyler Trent on December 28th. Told his dad, "I got to get down there. I got to be with the team." He was not just fighting cancer in the final days of his life. And he told his dad, "I've got to be there, Dad. I can't let the guys down. I'm a captain." Tyler lost his fight with cancer 3 days later. Just such a sad story. You can still tell that David is emotional about it still to this day. And it really hit those guys hard. And they considered him a part of their football team. He was a captain, and they really embraced him in his journey. And you could tell it really affected those guys still today. Likeable young man, David Blau. Talked a lot about his relationship from a distance with Drew Brees at first. He finally had an opportunity to meet Drew at an alumni event back in 2016, but hoping to make a roster, if not here with the Browns, with perhaps another team in the NFL. Gillen gets the punt away, and I'm not quite sure how. No flag, even though there was contact. This is returnable up the left side. And finally brought down hard on the play by Willie Harvey after a big return for the Lions return man. I don't know how Gillen got that ball away without it being blocked.
I think he kicked it under his arm. Yeah, he did. He kicked it under the arm of the Detroit Lions player. You see here, Gillen just trying to drop that ball down and goes right underneath the arm. And that was close to being contact.
Well, there was contact.
He should have fallen. That vet move would have been to fall and carry on and make a scene out of that and see if you can get the official to throw a flag.
Well, there was contact, which you expect to see a running into the punter, not a roughing call, but nonetheless, the Lions now have it on the 46-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground. Flag comes in from way in the Browns' backfield after the carry by Williams, who was just signed to the Lions this week.
Defense, number 91. 5-yard penalty adds it into the play. Automatic first down.
So the Lions now trying to get something going again. You know, I'm so thankful, Tim, that in the fourth quarter we're going to be joined by Dustin Fox and Bernie Kosar, because this has been difficult at times to look at.
There's not much going on offensively.
And I've got a lot of questions for Dustin and Bernie about how this team is going to look come Saturday night. And we're going to spend much of the fourth quarter in a conversation about what the Browns might look like 48 hours from now. That pass deep up the right side falls incomplete. Robert Jackson in coverage. Jackson, a player who's stood out on special teams, made some nice plays.
Good coverage this time by Jackson. He was called for a pass interference earlier in the game. This time may have gotten away with one again there. There was a little bit of hold on the jersey, but they didn't call it, so he was right in the face of the wide receiver.
Johnson now 2nd and 10 for the Lions. And that run is good for a Lions first down. They give it to Mark Thompson. He's like a linebacker coming at you. 245-pound running back.
It's a big back.
You rarely see backs that size in the NFL anymore.
Eddie George size.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Good look at Justin Burris, who's been in on a lot of tackles here in the second half. That's going to bring the third quarter to a close. The Browns clinging to a 1-point lead, 10-9. Bernie and Dustin will join us when we come back. 10-9 Browns. Hasn't been riveting football through these three quarters, but it's the necessary evil. Guys are fighting for their football lives back there, and boy, look at this motley crew.
Can we get any tighter in this booth? It's nice. This four-man booth gets tight in here.
Bernie Kosar, Dustin Fox with us for the fourth quarter, and it's really going to be more, guys, a conversation about what this football team is going to look like here in about 48 hours. 15 of the 16 preseason quarters are in the books. There are guys that certainly have stood out and guys that probably have cost themselves jobs throughout the course of the first 3 games and 3 quarters. Johnson on the run, and he goes down. So showing some more of the depth from that Browns pass rush. Carl Davis with the sack. Bernie, I want to start with you. Your biggest surprise so far this preseason, who's the guy that has really jumped off the screen at you as someone that's going to make this football team that you perhaps didn't think would initially?
Well, I think we've talked about it most of the night tonight with Lawrence on the defensive line. Seeing that depth coming into training camp, you didn't think many more defensive linemen would have a chance to make this roster, but he's come out, and as Coach Kitchens has talked about, as the Detroit Lions offensive line has found out, he is unblockable.
Dustin, how about you? Is there one guy that's sort of stood out to you that perhaps was a sleeper coming in?
I kind of think that Dearness Johnson has made a name for himself this camp, and now obviously he was helped by the trade of Duke Johnson to the Houston Texans, but I think he's versatile. I think he's a big physical runner, and he can also help you in the punt return game and kickoff return game, which are still kind of trying to figure out those position battles.
Guy that's done really well in pass protection for the Browns this preseason. Johnson's throw caught and dropped down.
You know, it's funny you talk about that pass protection. When we talked to Freddie Kitchens about Dearness Johnson, and Dearness told us the same thing. The very first day of practice in a blitz drill, and Bernie, remember this? You love the story. He gets his butt kicked basically in practice, embarrassed, and from that day forward, his pass protection, impeccable.
Completely on point.
Like it was like he just was like, okay, wake up call.
And Tim, that's what coaches love. Coaches love when there's a coachable moment and you talk to the player and then the light goes off and suddenly they get it.
Yeah, they get it, and that's what you want to see from a young player. And, you know, Freddie told us, hey, pass blocking is nothing about, it's all it is pad level and hand placement. He said Dearness Johnson really picked up on that quick and he hasn't missed one since.
He spent last year out of football. When we come back after the missed field goal, we're going to tell you how he made ends meet while he was out of football. It's a crazy story. Jay Crawford, Tim Couch, Dustin Fox, Bernie Kosar. There's Dearness Johnson, the rookie out of South Florida. He actually is trying to make a team for the first time. And, you know, last year he spent out of football, and we asked him how he spent his time. He was fishing for mahi-mahi off the coast of South Florida. Said he made $1,000 for a month and did pretty well. Look at that.
How heavy is that fish?
Well, we asked him. He said, I don't know.
Big as he is. He's huge.
And
he's a monster.
He's not a fisherman.
No, it was the first time he'd ever went fishing.
Yeah, but he needed a job.
Yeah.
Needed to make ends meet. And he said, yeah, I'll do it. And so now he's with the Browns trying to earn a roster spot, and he's impressed. He really has looked good.
Being a fisherman in Key West kind of reignited his passion for football.
Yeah. You know, a couple of long days out on the seas. He said when he would come home after fishing all day, he would snap off 500 push-ups, sit-ups, jump some rope, do whatever he could to try to stay fit, thinking all along, I don't want to do this for much longer. I want to be an NFL player.
Stepping up and hitting the linebacker in the hole on pass protection doesn't seem so bad after trying to go out and catch those fish in the hot sun.
and what an opportunity for him when Hilliard went down with that little bit of an injury, hamstring. For him to get those extra reps basically as the number 2, I think that's when he really kind of solidified himself to potentially make this team. Now, it's not a given that he makes it. You know how many backs they're going to keep and how they're going to kind of shake that thing out.
And it's essential to be a third down back.
But it is, yeah.
Obviously, to catch the ball is imperative. But like we saw last week, his ability to step up and pass protect. There we had a six-man blitz, third down. Back's able to stand in there, make the protection, allow David Blau to make that intermediate throw 18 yards downfield.
And guys, how about Hyman? Had the rough first half. He dropped the big play on the post pattern, came back, dropped the curl route on the next play. But here in the second half, he's made 3 or 4 catches and a big one on third down there.
And that's what you need to do if you're Hyman, because Bernie made the great point on the sidelines. He's like, if he doesn't come back in this game and make some plays, he's not going to make a roster. He's not going to make any other team's roster, and those 2 plays will haunt him for the rest of his life. So it's great to see him bounce back here in the second half. And he's got something that a lot of the other wide receivers don't have, and that's speed. Yes. And speed can get you a lot of places in this league. It's a big battle for that last, but Willie's had a nice catch at the end of the first half too, and of course Braxton Miller.
Yeah, Braxton looked great out there, man. For just been in the system for a little over a week and getting him the football, getting in the right spots, and the run after the catch is incredible.
Yeah, his ability to find himself open in that slot area to get that yards or 2 difference.
Area 16.
That's a nice catch too by Hyman. That ball was over his head. He had to reach up and get it, and it's a nice bounce back for him. At least he has nice tape.
Yeah, and both of these guys, Blau and Hyman. Blau's thrown 2 interceptions here in the second half. Hyman had the bad first half. Both of those guys bouncing back here on this drive.
I imagine after making a mistake, it takes a while before that thought is pushed out of your head and you can think about the task at hand.
I hope for the young man's sake that he keeps making these plays in the second half. This could be
house call. Get in there.
Gray inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line.
Keep your feet. Hey, you quarterbacks know better than any other position, of course. Talking about Braxton Miller. How much do you think playing quarterback for Braxton has helped him learn the playbook? Because Freddie said, and Braxton said, this playbook's easy. He's like, I looked at it for like a night, and I pretty much had this thing down, and Freddie said the exact same thing. In fact, he picked it up basically in a week. It was pretty impressive.
Fantastic to see the old quarterback be able to say how simplistic the terminology was.
Now looking like a true QB.
Rest assured out there for the people listening and watching that the playbook is not simplistic. I think it shows Braxton Miller's intelligence.
I think it was Deacon that asked Braxton, now that you're a wide receiver, when you go into the huddle, you're so used to receivers begging for the football. I was open. And he laughed and said, nah, now that's me.
Yeah, I still not do that.
Guys, the Browns are in the red zone, brought to you by Serpentini Chevrolet, home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile powertrain warranty. Gray, the rookie out of Miami, Bernie, with a nice carry there to take it down inside the 2.
Blau looks for my guy Dorian Baker out of Kentucky here, 6'3", wide out on the edge.
They hand the ball to Gray, who is hit and stopped for no gain, maybe a loss of 1.
I'm not sure if we want to go between that Kentucky alumni and Hurricane alumni right now. I know you're feeling pretty good with that overtime victory against Freddie Kitchens.
I'm still fired up after that highlight burn.
I was excited too to see that.
Baker, Cleveland guy, played his high school football at Cleveland Heights. In fact, led Heights to the playoffs 2 of his last 3 years there. So I'm sure he's playing in front of family and friends here tonight.
Absolutely. He did a lot of great things at Kentucky, too. He actually called a couple game-winning touchdown passes while he was there and did some big things.
Just missed a touchdown catch last week. Couldn't get that second foot in. Gray with the carry around the left side. Big guy hits the corner and takes it in for the score.
Go Canes.
What was so impressive about that run is that the interior of our offensive line got absolutely destroyed. And he showed vision and bounced to the outside and also had the speed for this big, monstrous running back to find his way to the end zone.
That's a good point. You see our center and guard both on the ground right there, Dustin, and he had that vision to pop it to the outside. Like you said, it was instant pressure, penetration in the backfield, and Gray with the vision to get to the corner.
It's easy to see why Freddie likes this guy. 6'1", 230 pounds.
So he needs to get his pads low.
Wants to see him get low,
a little too high.
Yep.
You know, Coach Kitchens talks a lot about pad level being lower, not just for the running backs, but for all positions.
Another PAT for Austin Seibert, the rookie, kicking with great confidence now as the Browns go up 8. Earlier this month, the Cleveland Browns Foundation, Ohio Department of Education, and Harvard's Proving Ground launched Get to School, Stay in the Game to promote school attendance, and is now expanding statewide to help tackle chronic absenteeism and help our kids and communities succeed. Visit gettoschool.org for more information and resources. 17-9 Browns after the Gray touchdown. 9:20 to go in the fourth quarter, the final preseason game of 2019. Jay Crawford, Tim Couch, Dustin Fox, Bernie Kosar. Austin Seibert making this team, guys?
I think so. I think he solidified his job last week, and it was funny, we're on the sidelines after he nails that 54-yarder, which would have been good from, I don't know, 70 yards. And then he comes off on the sidelines, and Bernie looked at him. We both looked at Seibert, and he just had this like smile, and you could just tell it was like someone just took 100 pounds off his shoulders. And we went over to him, Bernie and I did, and we're like, oh, yeah, now you just can't. You can relax.
Yeah.
And he goes.
He looks like that on the field.
4 for 4 last week, and then tonight looks just as good.
Yeah, he looks extremely confident out there and relaxed, like you said, Dustin. And I think he makes it too, and I hope he does. He's got a great choice in jersey number as well, so I'm for the guy.
You're a little biased towards
that. A little biased towards it too. Yeah.
That kickoff went all the way out of the end zone, landed outside the end zone.
Enough of these Hurricanes, man.
Yeah, look at it, Bernie. It's like the U North.
Well, we have
going up the U up here.
We have the U up there, representing us very well.
So Then you've got
we got Dorian.
One Kentucky Wildcat.
Well, the fantastic Stoops family from Youngstown, Ohio. Mark Stoops will make sure that we add to the Kentucky Wildcats on the Cleveland Browns.
Steve Fennig, no love for Denzel Ward and Braxton Miller. Come on.
So Luis Perez, who was signed at quarterback just a couple of days ago, is now in for the Lions. Flag down on the play.
I'm pretty sure we can get an Ohio State graphic up there.
I think Steve can manage that.
Replay first down.
Steve Fennig, our excellent producer, working very hard in the truck tonight.
Well, look, Denzel Ward comes in here last year as a first-round pick out of Ohio State, and what does he do? But he makes a Pro Bowl. You know, it doesn't happen, guys, for rookies in this league to come in and make it to the Pro Bowl, yet he made it look easy.
And it's such a tough position to come in and have success at cornerback. It's a challenging deal, learning how to play in the NFL. You can, in college, you can grab guys. You got to get used to the rules and how close these games are called. I think Denzel's going to have a heck of a career. The one thing that I do have a little bit of a concern with, guys, is that, you know, he had a couple concussions last year and had a couple of injuries that kind of kept him off the field. He's not the biggest corner in the world. So you wonder, durability-wise, can he hold up? If he can, this guy could be an 8-time Pro Bowler, right?
I totally agree with you. And we talked to defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes about that exactly, Dustin. He said they really worked with Denzel in the offseason on his technique, his tackling technique, to keep his head out of the tackle and just do it a lot safer so he can stay on the field and be that great player you talked about.
But isn't it fantastic to have a defensive back, a cornerback, that we're talking about being too physical, that tackles too much?
Exactly.
Yeah. That is an anomaly.
Perez with the give.
What do you guys think?
Bring up a 3rd and long.
Sorry, Jay. What do you guys think about Greedy Williams, his camp?
Well, I think early on he was being talked about as a guy that could sneak into the starting lineup, but I think Terrence Money Mitchell has said, wait a minute, not so fast. But I do think Greedy's a guy that the Browns like. And Bernie and Tim, I think he's a guy that's going to be a major factor for this Browns defense.
Well, I would agree. You know, early in the he made the interception early in the preseason in Week 1 against the Redskins, and off to a great start. Really hasn't done a whole lot, you know, the last couple of weeks. But I think he's an unbelievably talented player, and he's going to be on this roster for a long time.
I like the fact that he doesn't have to play right away. As a 2nd-round pick, you know, on a team that's going pretty good, I think it just takes a lot of pressure off of him. And just think back, guys, the last, I don't know, 5 years. Every high pick was forced to play.
Sure.
And not everybody's ready to play as a young guy, you know, and so that's good. I think he'll be able to develop and work he'll play this year. Come on, he's going to get on the field.
Right.
But there's not that pressure that, you know, Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans, he has to go out there and play man-to-man coverage against one of the best receivers, you know, one of their top receivers. That's a challenge. So it takes a ton of pressure off, I think.
Well, it's rare, you're right, that the Browns have had the opportunity to take a top draft pick and let him mature, sit, watch, and learn. And Mitchell's a great guy to watch and learn from. So the hope is give him a year or two, and he'll be out there as a starter. See if Sheehy Giuseppe can get some kind of return going here. Not much, a few yards. Browns defense holds, 6:52 to go from First Energy Stadium. The Browns are up 8. Time now for quarterback stats, brought to you by First Energy, your hometown energy team. And Blau, since throwing those 2 interceptions, 2 on successive throws and 2 out of his first 3 passes, he's bounced back very nicely, 7 of 11, 74 yards.
He did bounce back nicely, and I was impressed with Gilbert going back to the first half. He had some unfortunate penalties. They were behind the chains a lot, playing in 2nd and 3rd and long, but he had the 2-minute drill right before the half. Did a great job sitting in the pocket, delivering the football down the field, and getting a touchdown on the board.
I like how both quarterbacks have used their sense of timing, anticipation, not waiting for guys to be open, throwing them, trying to throw them open.
Bernie, that's something that you've talked about this preseason with both Gilbert and Blau, and really that's something that you rarely see a rookie quarterback come into the league with. But he talked about being taught very well at Purdue. He had the Brom brothers there that know a thing or two about playing quarterback.
Jeff and Brian Brom from St. Ignatius boys.
Absolutely.
Excellent quarterbacks and coaches. And they have impeccable sense of timing, and you can see they've coached that into David Blau.
Did you guys get a chance to talk about Blau's story about Baker Mayfield on here?
No, we didn't. That's a great story. Go ahead and tell that, Dustin.
I actually told it on the radio today. It's a fantastic story. You know, David Blau, he's the 4th quarterback on this roster. He's undrafted, and he's talking to us about how Baker Mayfield is this star. He doesn't know who he is personally. All he knows is what he sees on TV. He thinks this guy is just bigger than life. And I said, well, what's he like in the meetings? He said, he's unbelievable. He treats everybody the same. He even helps me, talking about for David, helps me with my plays and everything. He said, listen to the story, guys. He says, a weekend ago, my wife's coming to town, and Baker Mayfield lines up a reservation at a local restaurant. He said that was super nice because it's tough to get in this restaurant at primo time. So he gets him in the restaurant, and him and his wife, they have a great dinner. David Blau and his wife have a great dinner. After dinner, the waiter comes over and says, Baker Mayfield took care of your check. You guys are good. That's Baker Mayfield.
Pretty special.
It's pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, that's very sweet.
Really cool.
And as we're learning more and more about Baker Mayfield, we find that's the kind of guy he is.
The kind of guy he is.
He really is that
great
guy.
teammate. And you know what? I think and you quarterbacks know this better than anybody. You have to be that way for your teammates to respect you. You got to be the same guy on and off the field. You can't be a phony. You can't fake it. And I think that's what allows Baker to be able to get on guys in practice, get on his wide receivers, because they respect him.
They respect him. They know he has their back no matter what. He gets on guys in a motivational way, not in a way that tries to bring them down, and they respect that about him. Also, Dustin, I was talking to Dorsey when he was up here about what's the difference between Baker in year 1 and year 2, and he immediately said, he's the first guy in the building. He goes, every time I come in there, he's in the film room, watching film, trying to improve himself, understanding the mental aspect of playing quarterback in this league, Bernie. You know, that's the biggest adjustment for us young quarterbacks is learning how to protect yourself, how to get rid of the football quickly, and he said that's what Baker's really worked on this offseason, and hopefully what we'll see here in year 2 from Baker.
Yeah, fantastic point. That Baker had a phenomenal rookie year, needless to say, but the biggest jump tends to be from rookie year to the second year. His intelligence level and ability to communicate has been so impeccable that the bonding that this team has come through has been impressive to watch for such a young team right now.
How hard was it for you guys in your second year, you know, in terms of leadership and taking that next step to getting your guys to really believe in you?
You know, I think it's that the position makes it, you have to be kind of a natural leader to play that position. But also, I think you also have to go out and earn the respect of guys and show them that you're willing to work for it. And also, you know, your production on the field. Once you start producing on the field, you know, my rookie year, I started 15 games. And then year 2, I felt like I could be a little more vocal because I'd been out there with the guys and focused.
He's still engaged, guys. 4th quarter.
He's running downfield, wants a flag.
He's like yelling at the officials because he's that.
He's a gamer. I mean,
yeah.
the guy's competitive,
How many starting quarterbacks are this engaged this late preseason game number 4?
Watch, he's going to say, where's the ref? Where's the ref? He wanted a flag.
It's outstanding to see the camaraderie.
talking trash to the official.
Work those referees. It's absolutely great strategy by Baker, though.
Well, he's going to see that crew this year.
You're going to see those referees your whole life.
Yeah.
Did you have a relationship, Bernie, with certain crews?
Oh, absolutely. You make sure you understand who they are, because they come back around and they remember stuff, just like we were working them on the sidelines earlier, Dustin.
That's Jerome Boger and his staff working the game tonight.
One of the best in the NFL. Guys, was that interference? Did you see anything there?
I didn't really see anything. There was a little bit of hand checking. He kind of got him on the hip here right at the end. You see a little bit of a push right there, but that's just 2 guys going for the ball, in my opinion.
I typically side with the defensive back, shockingly. But I thought he grabbed the jersey.
It looked like he did grab it for just a split second in the front.
Right in the front.
Right in the front. Pulled it down.
And that's what the ref saw.
But that takes a guy off his route. It's tough to make the catch when a guy's pulling on you.
Well, from a quarterback perspective, that was just a gorgeous throw by David Blau to do the double move, to look left, to take the weak safety from the middle of the field to the left side, and then come back right.
That was that sluggo seam, right, Bern? You got the slant and go down here at the bottom. You pump the safety to the left, and you got the seam going up the other side. You got it one-on-one, and good location on the throw, but the little contact between the DB and the wide receiver. So we'll see what they end up calling here.
I'm not sure any of us are completely in love with this new rule. We've talked about it throughout the preseason. Let's get the call.
After reviewing the play, the rule of the field stands as called. Cleveland is charged. His first time out.
But this could absolutely cause a big disturbance in the regular season. Sure. If NFL coaches are using this rule to their advantage in preseason games when it doesn't matter, and it really matters with 16 games on Sunday, I would contest a lot more of these pass interference calls.
Well, what's weird is we haven't seen one of them overturned. The officials. This is
because it's preseason.
It's preseason, but also this is in the eye of the beholder. And so if they didn't see it that way the first time, it seems like they're going to be very slow to overturn the original call unless it's so egregious like the Saints, like in the Saints and Rams playoff game, that we're probably not going to see a lot of them overturned. Beautiful throw.
Beautiful throw on the run.
We probably won't see a lot of them overturned early in the year, but as the year goes on, the league tends to make adjustments, and as the games become more important.
It's your guy, Bernie.
Yeah, but again, beautiful sense of timing.
On the run.
Terrific throw. Dorian Baker.
I loved hearing you guys talk with the quarterbacks and Blau in our meetings yesterday about throwing interceptions. And Blau told us about how his sophomore year, he led the nation in interceptions, right? He threw like 20-something picks and never got benched. And Bernie, you said something one of your old coaches told you. Well, you can't use the language on the air here. Please don't. Said.
Let me edit the language so I get invited back next year.
But Gary Danielson.
Yeah, Gary Danielson, a Purdue quarterback, and my mentor here with the Browns, used to say to me, to be a great quarterback.
Timeout, Detroit. This is their first 30-second timeout.
To be a great quarterback, you have to be able to throw 5 interceptions. And when I was younger, that really confused me. I thought we didn't want to throw interceptions. We want to minimize our mistakes. And Gary said, to be a great quarterback, you have to be fearless and not be concerned with your stats. So to throw 2 or 3 interceptions, to be able to come back from that and keep slinging it down the field, trying to win the game, is imperative to a great quarterback.
Bernie, also on that, Blau told a great story about how he threw 5 quarterbacks in a game his junior year or his sophomore year when he threw 21 picks to lead the country, and Drew Brees sent him a text and said, don't worry about it. That pass falls incomplete. He said, don't worry about it. Peyton Manning threw 7 in a game. You'll be just fine. And so that speaks a little bit to the relationship that Blau has with Drew Brees, who, of course, is another Purdue product at quarterback.
Imagine being able to be a quarterback at Purdue and be able to just be on a text relationship with Drew Brees. And Drew would text him like every week.
It's a nice resource. You think? It's a nice resource. And, you know, he said, being an undersized quarterback, I looked at Drew from the time I was in high school. Obviously, the Texas connection had something to do with that, but he went to Purdue, he said, because that was the first legitimate offer he had. And he said, I'm good. I want to play where Drew Brees played.
Oh, he's been well-versed in terms of reading defenses. For a rookie quarterback, again, back-to-back plays of perfect throws, perfect reads, understanding the weaknesses within the defensive coverages.
Good job by Hyman here, but he didn't get the depth, Bernie. You see that as third down, he runs his route short of the sticks. As a receiver, you can't do that. You have to be aware of where you are on the field and make sure you get the proper depth, so when you do catch the ball, you keep those chains moving.
Well, it looks like they're going to go for it on 4th and 1. Gray checks into the game. And the Browns are in the red zone, brought to you by Serpentini Chevrolet, home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile powertrain warranty.
That's an excellent point by Tim for the young receivers out there. You have to get your depth on third down to cross the first to 10 sticks. That being said, Hyman's had a rough night, and it's not wanting to pile on him.
Yeah, he's bounced back in the second half with some catches. That's just a mental error right there. You know, he had some drops in the first half, but that one you see him talking to him on the sideline. Hey, just make sure you get your depth and make sure you know where you are on the field and understand down and distance.
Yeah, rest assured, 31 other coaches around the league saw he did not get his depth on third down.
Sure. Well, you know, we haven't seen much of them during this preseason, but guys, these are going to be the faces, the stars that move the needle for these Cleveland Browns. Beckham. You've got Myles Garrett defensively. Kareem Hunt, who of course has to serve the 8-game suspension. He'll be back for the Browns' 9th game. Jarvis Landry, Richardson. This is a team, guys, that can you remember in recent history a time when the Browns had this kind of star power coming into a season? It's been a very long time. Maybe, Bernie, back to your day.
First time this century. It's been a couple decades.
There you go. So the Browns have decided they won't go for it on 4th down. They will bring out the kicker, and why not? Give him another opportunity in game conditions to try to put one through.
You know, Jay, that's a great point. A compliment to our general, John Dorsey. The acquisition of talent is very impressive over the last couple years.
Guys, you might be looking at your kicker for the 2019 season for these Cleveland Browns, Austin Seibert, after a rough start to camp, has really settled in now, and he looks the part of an NFL kicker.
He does, and he's got a powerful leg, and we were watching him warm ups. He's really impressive. The ball just pops off of his foot. It's a really strong, powerful leg, and now he's got that confidence to go in there and just put it through the uprights, just like he did in college. I mean, he was a great kicker in college. He can be a great kicker at this level. It's just about having the confidence to go out there and do it.
I think the versatility of him also being able to punt kind of helps, because you never know in a game, especially if the Scottish Hammer makes the team and ends up tackling somebody and gets knocked out of the game, then you need to put Seibert in and let him punt.
It's happened. We've seen it in recent memory where a kicker goes down and suddenly kicking field goals aren't an option, kicking extra points aren't an option. You go for it all the time, and it can change the outcome of a game.
And same thing goes for Gillen. He's a punter, and he kicked a 70-yard field goal in practice.
Look, isn't it the more you can do, right? Isn't that what they say? The more you can do. Both of these kickers can punt and can kick, and I think, you know, at the end of the day, you got to factor in holding,
big time,
for the punter, and obviously, I think everybody would agree that
during the return, personal foul, illegal double team block, receiving team number 85, half the distance to the goal, first down.
That's a new rule. They got to kick off returns. That's tough.
It is tough. We already saw enough flags on kickoffs, so get ready for even more. But the fact that that Colquitt has been through the rigors of a holder in the NFL certainly helps his cause there. But guys, I haven't seen anything in a field goal try or a PAT that has jumped out from Gillen, that, you know, maybe on one field goal try he might have had a little bit of a sloppy transition, but for the most part I think he's looked pretty good as a holder.
I think he's been fine. I think Freddie is just trying to figure out, do they have something in the Scottish Hammer? Because he said to us, they know what Britain is. Colquitt is very, very good at what he does. He's a great holder. You know exactly what you're going to get every time he goes out there on the field. What they don't know is what the Hammer can bring you. Can he be consistent? Yeah. So that's why he's getting a lot of these opportunities here before they have to make this cut.
It'll be very interesting to see what moves are made at punter and kicker. Guys, I wouldn't be surprised if the odd man out and both of those position battles doesn't pick up with another team.
No doubt.
No question. Really, all four of our kickers have shown they deserve a chance in the NFL.
Hugh Giuseppe having a conversation with Freddie over on the sidelines. Third down and 2 for the Lions. Johnson back in at quarterback, and that ball is completed for a first down. Typically, when the Browns players were released, it wasn't very often that other teams were quick to pick up the Browns that were released, but that's not going to be the case this year, guys.
It is nice to see that other teams now are looking at our depth and looking at our roster moves to replenish the back end of their rosters.
That's President John Dorsey creating competition and finding talented guys to bring in here to camp, because, I mean, you talk about those guys who were getting cut before. You didn't have frontline talent. And certainly a lot of those backup guys, I mean, no one's getting picked up for the most part. So Dorsey's got some tough decisions to make. I mean, you put together a roster like this, I mean, that's a good thing, but it's also creates challenges when you want to make sure you pick the right guys, especially for those last 6, 7, 8 spots on the roster.
I just saw John Young. He better get a lot of coffee, because really there won't be much sleep. There won't be much sleep between now and early Sunday morning.
John Dorsey's done an amazing job. It's outstanding to see the leadership that we have right now and the opportunity that's in front of us this year.
A whole lot of field in front of the Lions receiver, all the way down deep into Browns territory. The Lions will be set up as we come back from the 2-minute warning. They have the ball at the 20-yard line. Well, that's our first glimpse of Odell Beckham this preseason. Take a look at this, guys. You talk about John Dorsey, Bernie, and the job he has done here, and you talk about, guys, 1 year ago, right now, the Browns were coming off an 0-16 season and a 1-31 two-year stretch. 1 year ago from now. And as we stand here today on the final day of the preseason, do we all agree that anything short of the playoffs would be considered a disappointment this year as we turn the corner and head to the regular season?
I don't know that I'd say it's a disappointment. I think this team just needs to grow and build off of what they did last year. Like this discussion on my show with my partner all the time about if the Browns, go 8-8 or 9-7 and don't make the playoffs, it's a disappointment. We're used to not winning any games here in Cleveland. Won't win many games with that coverage.
No, Isaac Nauta wide open on the touchdown throw from Johnson. So we may see an onside kick here in just a little bit. So I want to hear you guys weigh in on one big bold prediction for the 2019 season.
Put us on the spot.
And Bernie, we'll start with you. You're farthest down the row there. Your big bold prediction for 2019's regular season is?
That I'm not going to make one. But I did find it super interesting that Coach Kitchens and John Dorsey talk about not wanting people to feel comfortable, making people feel the pressure to kind of increase the ability to maximize the talent within them. And I think some of that's been emphasized with the competition in camp. When you have so much competition, you get guys making themselves even better than they thought they could be. And that's the impressive part here to see our team now.
Okay, so Bernie makes the fair catch.
Eloquently dances around the
Bernie makes the fair catch. No big bold prediction for Bernie. Dustin, I'm not letting you off the hook.
I'm going to give you one.
All right.
Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year.
All right, I like that. I do. I like that. Tim?
I say the Browns win the AFC North.
That is a big, bold prediction.
I really do. I think with the offensive firepower they have, if everyone stays healthy, with Baker Mayfield, with those weapons, and the defense that they have, the way they can get after the quarterback with Myles Garrett, Olivier Vernon, Sheldon Richardson, Larry Ogunjobi, all these guys, I think this is a team that's capable of winning their division.
All right, here's my big, bold prediction. The Cleveland Browns will break the single-season sack record set by the '84 Bears. 72 times that season they dropped the quarterback. That's 4.5 per game. I'm calling the Browns to beat that record.
Well, I think, and you guys would attest to this, you former quarterbacks, when you drop back to pass, and you have Myles Garrett on one side, and Olivier Vernon on the other, and Sheldon Richardson in the middle, and Ogunjobi in the middle, and Devereaux Lawrence in the middle.
Yeah, throw Devereaux.
How are you going to have any time to throw the football?
Well, you don't, and it makes you keep another guy in the protection. So you lose a receiver or a tight end. You got to keep a back end to chip one of those guys, and especially on known passing downs. Bernie, when it's 3rd and long, and they know you're going to throw the ball, they pin their ears back and come after you.
Illegal bop. Receiving team number 40.
Bernie, where did you?
I'm still stuck with Dustin here thinking, I think we're playing Canadian football. You have so many players out on the defensive side. You had 12 guys on the field.
They did play on a Canadian field last week.
Yeah, how bizarre was that, by the way?
80 yards?
Yeah, how bizarre was that?
Gruden wasn't too happy with that.
Quite frankly, I was kind of surprised the NFL did that. I mean, it was the dimensions are different. So the end zone, they had to repaint the end zone. And
I don't know why they just didn't cancel it. They canceled the Hall of Fame game.
It was
paint on it.
Yeah, it was really bizarre.
So on, Mr. Boger.
The game that will never end continues. Some numbers for you. The Browns 22 first downs to the Lions 11. And both Browns quarterbacks threw for over 100 yards after a very sluggish first quarter. It wasn't until late in the second quarter that the Browns offense really started to click.
The battle for the barge, right?
Jay, you said that so positively that both Browns quarterbacks threw for
over
north of 100 yards.
After that first quarter, I was hoping that we could have 100 yards total.
Illegal block has been declined. First down at the end of the play.
Jay, I loved your reference. It was like an Indians-Tigers game.
It's 3-2. It was 3-2.
Although the Indians have been Well, the winning against the Tigers by a lot more than that.
But they just took the series?
Huge series, yeah.
I think they've beaten the Tigers 13 or 14 straight games.
That's big series coming up in Tampa.
They're all big from here, Dustin. True. They're all big from here because the Twins aren't losing. So the Browns looking for a first down to put this one in the win column and head to the Tennessee game. Nice cutback there by Gray to pick up a couple of yards. So Detroit will use its second of 3 timeouts. Here's your most likely starting lineup for week 1.
Timeout Detroit. Their second.
What do you make of that, Bernie?
30 seconds.
I like the roster for week 1 starters. I do not like that the Detroit Lions just called a timeout right now.
Well, and this is, Patricia didn't even try to work a drive late in the first half. He let the Browns call a timeout. They got the ball back and took it down the field and scored. Now all of a sudden Patricia wants to try to make it a game.
Have you seen a group of skill position players like that on one team since the Pro Bowl?
Looks like an all-star team. It looks like a Pro Bowl roster. It really does.
It's not fair on paper, but they have to, again, come together, gel, play actual games, win games.
And well, same thing on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding?
You got 3 out of your 4 defensive linemen are Pro Bowlers, and I'll tell you what, Larry Ogunjobi's not far off from being a Pro Bowler as well. Secondary, you got a Pro Bowler, Denzel Ward. Demarius Randall's a great player back there at safety as well. Schobert's been a Pro Bowler. I mean, both sides of the ball, man. It's a talented roster.
It's beautiful to look those type of players out there. Elliot Wolf said something to me a couple weeks ago about our defense. He said, our defensive guys, our dogs will hunt.
Yeah, they will.
And that defense right there, that'll cause opposing OCs, opposing quarterbacks a lot of duress, a lot of sleepless nights in preparation for Sunday afternoon against
If I could just jump in on your to piggyback that from you, Bernie. The defenses here in the past they've been okay, but when your offense stinks, to put it bluntly, it makes it very difficult to go out there and be inspired to get off the field on 3rd down when you know that you're going to get the football back to your offense.
Yeah.
And they're going to go 3-9.
Well, you know you have to be perfect, and you also know that when you get off the field, you might only be off it for 5 minutes of real clock time.
Yeah.
And then you're back out there, and so it exhausts your defense.
It inspires you to play harder especially when you know you have a quarterback like a Baker Mayfield, who, regardless of the situation in the game, you know that if you can get the football back in his hands, you've got a chance.
Bernie, so you won't give us a big, bold prediction. How about this? Will the Browns offense or the Browns defense finish the year with a higher NFL ranking?
I don't really concern myself with the rankings like that because I love what the team's been talking about not concerned about individual statistics or group statistics, about just W's and winning games. And this family atmosphere that's really been created within Berea, I think this is a team that's going to show and back up this hype that we've received.
I'm going to attempt one more question with Bernie.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm out. I've fired all I have.
Let's put it this way. Do you think the strength of our football team will be the offense or the defense?
The strength of our team is the Cleveland Browns. We're a team.
We can't get to it.
White flag.
We can't get to it.
It's not white flag. You guys are players. This isn't about us and them. This is the team. It's not offense, defense.
Lions are going to get the ball back with 30 seconds and change after the Gillen kick. Brandon Powell, the return man, doing a lot of dancing, chewing up a lot of clock. Flag down because we needed to see one more of those tonight. That'll be the 21st penalty of tonight's game.
Kicking team, number 1. The 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
He's going to need to stick that right arm in a tub after the game. He needs to ice that shoulder. It's going to feel like Tim and Bernie after winging it 50 times a night. So, speaking of night games, take a look at this, guys. When was the last time, never, that the Browns played 3 of their first 5 games in front of a national television audience? Pretty impressive. 4 times for the season.
A lot of primetime players. I mean, you got guys like Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb. Get out on the field all at the same time. All of the country wants to watch those guys play and see how explosive they can be.
Johnson completes it. It's up past midfield. Lions out of timeout, so they quickly have to get up and set up for the next play. Quick spike to stop the clock, and that takes us to 20 seconds. And
I've been in the games, in the fourth preseason game when this happens, when another offense is trying to drive down there and get the game-winning field goal or game-winning score. And the defensive players right now are absolutely gassed. I mean, they're exhausted. When you get this 2-minute drill, by the way, these guys, most of them have all been playing special teams the entire game. And then they have to go out here on defense. They're just forked.
They're tired, and also it looks like this could be a lot of their last chance to be out on the field. So God bless a lot of these young men.
Owens is not tired, Bernie.
How about that? A terrific job to catch Johnson from behind and take some precious seconds off the clock, and that will be stopped now with 2 seconds to go. That'll give Johnson an opportunity to heave it into the end zone on a Hail Mary. What a terrific and athletic play by, again, one of these backup pass rushers for the Cleveland Browns.
He just never stops. This is a relentless pass rush. He comes all the way off the opposite side and chases a quick quarterback down from behind.
And that will be something that gets noticed by every coach. Because listen, every team watches every single snap of every single game in this fourth preseason game, and that's
effort, right?
Effort play, right?
Effort play.
You notice those things, man. Right, Bernie, you know that. I mean, that could catch somebody's eye right there.
Offense, 5-yard penalty.
Well, that doesn't help because they're already 47 yards from the end zone. Now it'll be 52 yards. Terrell Owens, the undrafted rookie free agent out of Oklahoma State. He had 12 sacks during his career at Oklahoma State, 20 tackles for a loss. So again, this is another guy that Dorsey brings in here as an undrafted free agent, but he can play. Here we go, last play of the game, last play of the preseason. Johnson flushed, runs to his right, and fittingly enough, the preseason comes to an end with yet another sack. This time it's Stubbs, as the Browns finish the preseason 3-1 after the 20-16 victory here over the Lions. Guys, that's fitting that the preseason ends on a sack.
You know, Coach Kitchens talked about effort throughout all of training camp, and effort play the last two to get a couple nice sacks.
Now the game
Baker's
hanging in the balance. Yeah, Baker is ready to go. Get me to next Sunday. And the two coaches embrace. And that brings to a close the 2019 Cleveland Browns preseason. Now the real work begins for the coaching staff and the front office. They have to pare this group down to 53 guys. They've got to do it by Saturday, as does the rest of the league. 7 sacks here tonight by this Cleveland Browns defensive unit. 7 sacks coming off a huge effort in Tampa Bay. 72 is the team record by the 84 Bears. See if they can get 4.5 a game and make NFL history. That's a big, bold prediction, but we'll see. We'll see. Dustin, Bernie, thanks so much for joining us up here in the booth for the fourth quarter. Certainly appreciate it.
It was an honor.
Thank
you. Enjoy it, guys.
Enjoy the 2019 regular season. It's going to be fun, fellas.
We're looking forward.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Go Brownies.
We're not done. Tim and I back to put a bow on this one and the preseason. 2016, the Browns over the Lions here from First Energy Stadium.